Making news. Payday isn't coming for many government workers today because of the government shutdown.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is in jail. I'm Sean Malone. Coming up, I tell you how we got here.
And I'm Michael Calhoun with Reaction. One public official calling this an absurd situation.
After 7 drownings in a decade at Rockford Park in Jefferson County, a bill passes to ban anyone from getting in the water.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayers. Sunny to partly cloudy today, very warm with a high of 86.
The NLCS, a 2-0 lead for the Dodgers. They take both games in Milwaukee. More thoughts on Mike Schilt's retirement from Bernie Miklasz. That's on the way at 6:15.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with day 2 of a ceasefire in Gaza and a problem with the return of the last 28 Israeli hostages who died in captivity. Linda Gradstein reports from Jerusalem.
The Israeli army says it has identified 3 of the 4 bodies that Hamas returned on Tuesday, and that the 4th one is not one of the 21 remaining bodies that Hamas is holding in Gaza. They said they believe the body belongs to a Palestinian.
That leaves the remains of 21 hostages outstanding. CBS's Tony DeCopel spoke exclusively with Prime Minister Netanyahu about the peace plan.
You just mentioned how closely you're working with Donald Trump on this. He took some digs at you, as he often does with people, during his speech at the Knesset. Why does he say you're so hard to work with?
Well, I hope he says that, because I'm very tough on the matters that pertain to my country's future. Israel is, where the Jewish people are 3,500 years old.
You can see more of Tony's interview from Israel on CBS Mornings. It's October 15th, usual payday for members of the military. But this year, families are worried. WTVF-TV's Chris Davis is in Clarksville, Tennessee.
There are some resources available for military families to get low to zero interest loans. But so far, Brittany and her husband haven't been able to secure them.
Good credit, both of us. Both have jobs, and we got denied.
A tough spot to be in for any family, but especially when your husband is deployed.
Air traffic controllers have received their first partial paychecks. For the 8th time, the Senate has blocked a bill to end the shutdown, Republicans blaming Democrats for holding out on health care. Midterm elections are almost here, and the Supreme Court is once again taking up a case on redrawn congressional maps that sometimes zigzag across states to increase minority representation. CBS News legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
There are huge implications to this case. And the first question really is, to what extent Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act continues to survive and continues to prohibit certain practices, at least with respect to redistricting.
A warning about annoying text messages. They are netting criminal gangs a lot of money. Here's correspondent Michael Wallace.
You've probably gotten the text. You owe unpaid highway tolls or traffic tickets. The Department of Homeland Security tells the Wall Street Journal Chinese gangs have made more than $1 billion over the last 3 years with those scams. They're using server farms in the U.S. to blast thousands of those scam texts out each day and use phishing websites to collect credit card information.
Dow futures are up 199. S&P futures ahead 40. This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got clear skies, 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll get that forecast from Heather Zayers momentarily. A secret burner phone landed St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery behind bars.
Alfred Montgomery's seat in federal court faced west out the 15th floor window, overlooking the city that elected him sheriff just over 11 months ago. He was escorted out of that room by U.S. Marshals in their custody after a judge revoked his bond. At issue, Montgomery's latest actions that landed him felony witness retaliation charges and a recorded phone call that prosecutors say was made with a burner phone. Judge Bodenhausen took issue with the burner phone, saying as much as he would love to keep Montgomery out of jail because he is an elected official, he could not see any conditions he could place on Montgomery he was confident he would abide by. Shy of a successful appeal, Montgomery will be jailed until his trial, which has not yet been set. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Well, the sheriff, to be clear, remains the sheriff of the city of St. Louis. That's by the will of the people.
That is one of Sheriff Montgomery's attorneys, Justin Gelfand, outside the courtroom after his client's bond was revoked. How will Montgomery continue to serve his role as elected sheriff from behind bars? Another of his attorneys, David Mason, says the command staff know what the sheriff wants, but how will he communicate with them from jail over Zoom?
If that ever becomes necessary, but at the moment, I don't see where that becomes necessary.
I'm Michael Calhoun with reaction to the Montgomery move. Mayor Spencer is calling on the sheriff to resign, calling this an absurd situation. She adds, quote, should he continue to only prioritize serving himself, I hope the court will move quickly to remove him. Our office stands ready to support the sheriff's office during a time of transition. A similar note from Board of Aldermen President Megan Green, who says that the board is taking a look at what the procedures would be to come up with a replacement. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has been trying to get him removed from office with that quo Warrento fight. She said in a statement, it's impossible to do your job from behind bars. Montgomery should resign immediately.
A Missouri court's decision to uphold abortion access yesterday triggered a drastic response from a pro-life group, a call to abolish the court itself. The Western District Court of Appeals unanimously rejected the state's attempt to bring back restrictions like the 72-hour waiting period. In response, the group MO Protects declared that the court protects the abortion industry instead of protecting innocent children, and said lawmakers should move to eliminate it. The ruling means the restrictions remain blocked pending a full trial in January.
State Senator Rusty Black has received a promotion as chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee. Black tells Missouri Net affiliate KFEQ in St. Joseph that an immediate challenge the state faces is the reduction of the federal dollars, which have been flowing into Missouri for COVID relief.
We try to do as little harm as we can to the citizens and to those core services that people expect state government to provide.
Black, a Republican from Chillicothe, got the post because Lincoln Huff opposed redistricting and was removed. Black will lead the committee that's responsible for deciding what the state spends and does not spend.
A program that gives fourth grade students an up-close education on the Missouri River will be resuming this week, this time in Jefferson City. Starting yesterday, then again Thursday, Friday, every fourth grade student in the Jefferson City School District will explore the Missouri River by boat with guides and chaperones. Kristen Schulte with the Missouri River Relief tells Missouri Net the day's activities will also have a land component.
They go on a guided hike through a floodplain forest. So they're learning about some of the tree adaptations that these trees have that are unique to surviving near the Missouri River. Another one is they meet a fisheries biologist.
It's all part of a program called Missouri River Days. The most recent field trip took place last month upriver in Boone County.
With winter coming, the Missouri Department of Transportation is getting its snowplow drivers ready. MoDOT says about 16% of the operators have less than 1 year of experience, making this Thursday's statewide training drill more critical than ever. The exercise will test emergency communications and ensure all equipment is inspected and ready to go. Motorists should be aware they'll see an increased number of MoDOT vehicles on the roads throughout the day tomorrow.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. A St. Louis area staple is changing things up, selling its property and maybe opening elsewhere. Hacienda Mexican restaurant in Rock Hill caused a stir when it posted on its Facebook page that it was listing its property for sale, saying the maintenance of a 150-year-old building on 3 acres is a privilege and a challenge, especially the way business expands and contracts between the busy summer months and slower winter seasons. Hacienda will remain open for now, but is hoping to move to a new space.
Hacienda first opened in 1968 in Overland, the first full-service Mexican restaurant in the region. It was a hit. They moved to the space in Rock Hill in 1977. They expanded the historic space several times, added a large outdoor patio, tortilla chip factory, and a catering company.
They have great salsa. Hacienda. It's 6:08. Traffic and weather next. I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett with Washington University School of Medicine and Siteman Cancer Center. Mammograms, when should people get them? How often should they get them?
People should start getting mammograms at least by age 40. If you don't have a significant family history of breast cancer, then we recommend that you start at 40, and we recommend that you get them every year to give yourself the best chance of finding a breast cancer as early as possible.
What would you say to someone who is nervous to get their mammogram?
Well, that would be everybody. So what I would tell them is that they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their families, for their kids. The reason we do mammograms is, as I said, to find cancers as early as possible. If we can find them as early as possible, they're very treatable.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, time for traffic and weather. It is not a bad start to the day, but it's going to be another hot one for mid-October. Details on that coming up. But first, let's get the details on your ride in from Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are heating up, Debbie, on the Interбelt, southbound 170. We have a crash south 170 at the eastbound 64 exit. The ramp is blocked, so if you're south on the Interбelt, you'll have to go west on 64, or the easiest thing to do is to get off at Eager Road there and go east to Hanley and get back on 64 there. But that's the situation right now. That ramp, south 170, eastbound 64, currently shut down because of a crash. Northbound 55, slow into 67 in the work zone. We have that moving slow down we always see this time of day. Westbound 64 through Lake St. Louis Boulevard, eastbound 70, passing Warrenton. The delays we have there have thinned out for the time being. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will be very warm with sun, some clouds, and a high of 86. Then we'll have patchy clouds and a low of 63 tonight. Still quite warm tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 83. Then quite warm again Friday. Times of clouds and sun with a high again of 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Clear 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now, so what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 6:12. No more swimming in Rockford Park. Jefferson County Council members voted 4-2 last night to amend the park regulations to prohibit people from entering the park with the intention of taking a dip in the Big River. One of those voting against the ban, Council member Charles Grutke, who says even though the measure could save lives, he thinks it's important for people to take personal responsibility.
This bill, although it will save lives, I will vote against it. My position on this is liberty means more than, and personal responsibility is something that citizens should enact themselves.
High Ridge Fire Department has been called to Rockford Park 60 times since 2014, including 7 drownings, one of those this year.
When you think of Jefferson County, especially if you're not from there, you likely think of Ken Waller. He was the first person elected as county executive after Jefferson County became a charter county. Waller died in August at the age of 63. Last night, Jefferson County Council members voted unanimously to introduce a bill to rename their county building after him. Councilman Billy Crow Jr.
The early days of the council and the charter government were tough, but that didn't mean that he didn't love this county and that others were just trying to figure out how to move this county forward together. And he was a great man to lead that charge.
In Jefferson County, if you saw a smiling man in glasses wearing an American flag blazer, it was likely Ken Waller.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth underwent a procedure yesterday to deal with ongoing pain and mobility issues from the combat wound she sustained in Iraq. Duckworth is a former helicopter pilot who lost both of her legs after her Black Hawk was hit by an RPG in 2004. Her spokesperson says the surgery was long awaited and pre-planned, and that Senator Duckworth plans to return to her duties in Washington later this week.
Well, if you ever wished you could go to a bar to enjoy your favorite women's sports games, soon you will be able to. The Sports Bra will open in Maplewood early next year, a restaurant and sports bar that exclusively televises women's sports. The first Sports Bra opened 3 years ago in Portland with a mission to support, empower, and protect women and girls in sports. The St. Louis location will be owned by local franchisees Sarah Pilsner and Heather Hill. According to the Business Journal, St. Louis is part of a 4-city expansion. It includes Boston, Indianapolis, and Las Vegas. It's 6:15. The Dodgers have a 2-0 lead on the Milwaukee Brewers in the NLCS. Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitched a 3-hitter for the first postseason complete game in 8 years as the Dodgers beat the Brewers 5-1 to extend their lead in the NLCS. Teoscar Hernandez and Max Muncy each hit a solo home run. Muncy has 14 in the postseason. That is a Dodgers record, and they leave Milwaukee with a 2-0 lead. Yamamoto was fantastic. He allowed a home run on the first pitch of the game from him in the bottom of the first to Jackson Chourio, and then through 111 pitches total, shut down the Brewers the rest of the way. His first complete game in 2 major league seasons. Game 3 in Los Angeles tomorrow. Meantime, the Seattle Mariners have a 2-0 lead in the ALCS. They beat Toronto twice in Toronto, and they open up Game 3 tonight. Seattle has never been to the World Series. Milwaukee has never won a World Series. The Dodgers are defending World Series champions. We'll see how it all shakes down here over the next few days. Meanwhile, the Blues will be playing tonight. They take on the Chicago Blackhawks. That's an 8:30 listed start, but keep in mind that that game is on TNT, so the puck really won't drop until about 8:50 or so tonight. Looks like 8:52 for that television puck drop. The Blues have won back-to-back games. They won them both on the road after losing the home opener 5-0 in embarrassing fashion against the Minnesota Wild. The Blues have bounced back. They knocked off Calgary, and they knocked off Vancouver, most recently a 5-2 victory. One neat thing, we'll hear from Jim Montgomery on the way at 6:45, is that they actually practiced yesterday, so they're giving the team all of today to rest, and then they show up to the rink a little later today in preparation for that late start. And the fans, you know, they're going to show up tonight, probably after being out to dinner and having a good old time. Enterprise Center is the site of that this evening. In football, we are looking forward to more big games this weekend, but did you know that college basketball is starting to get cranked up? That's right. The AP Top 25 came out just a couple of days ago, and Illinois is in it. It is ranked 17th in the country in the preseason AP Top 25. Purdue, Houston, Florida, UConn, and St. John's are the top 5 teams. Duke, Michigan, BYU, Kentucky, and Texas Tech wrap up the top 10. Missouri received 8 votes. SLU did not, but SLU had a very good, what was called secret scrimmage over the weekend against Iowa, who did receive 6 votes in the top 25, and SLU overwhelmed Iowa in that session at Chaifetz Arena. So we'll see. The Billikens look pretty deep and pretty talented here moving forward. We'll have the games on KMOX. November 3rd is the official opening day of college basketball for many of the teams in the area. SLU will be playing Southeast Missouri State that night on KMOX. Illinois will open with Jackson State. Missouri will be taking on Howard, and Southern Illinois will tangle with McKendree, all on November 3rd. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with 2 chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day with just 2 rinses a day.
Never have bad breath again. You can find Smart Mouth locally at Schnucks and Deerbergs or at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. Visit smartmouth.com to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. That's smartmouth.com/Glover.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Been talking about them for a while, been going to them for a while. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. Speaking of SLU and basketball, when I'm calling games, I got to be able to see what's going on out there accurately, tell you what I see, both on the women's and men's side. You got to be able to see what's happening. You got to be able to look down and look at your stats, look back up and adjust. Ophthalmology Associates makes sure that my eyesight is in top shape. Dr. Greg Birdie has worked with me. They also have Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati. He was the first one that I saw. And Dr. Andy Royer, who did a nice job with my daughter. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, located just west of 270 off Manchester Road, 12990 Manchester Road. Really think you'll enjoy the experience. They are experienced doctors. In fact, they see more doctors than any other ophthalmology practice. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. All you have to do is go to youridoc.com to learn more. Youridoc.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Time for us to check the roadways. Hopefully no issues on your ride in, but Roger Brand would know more. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we do have the one issue in Richmond Heights right now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Age Smart Community Resources. If you're on southbound 170, we have a crash, south 170 at the ramp to get onto eastbound 64, so that eastbound 64 ramp is blocked. That means you either have to go west on 64 or exit at Eager Road, which is probably the best thing. Go Eager eastbound to Hanley to get back on eastbound 64. Southbound 170 backed up south of the Parkway, right around Brentwood Boulevard right now because of that ramp closure. Other than that, we're building volume in other areas. Northbound 55 slow approaching 67, a little busy at A and McNutt. The right lane's bogged down south of Butler Hill to 270. Bayless up to Weber's busy. North 270 right through the 64 Ladue area. We have a little volume there. Westbound 64. Prospect out to 70, southbound 61, a couple of spots from Highway P down to 64, where it's starting to slow down for you as well. Downtown on the Illinois side, things still look great. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
1 in 4 employees is also a caregiver. The CARES program connects them with expert support, helping reduce stress, boost retention, and save your business money. Learn more at hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561, serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
Well, if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or X, you can see the Soldiers Memorial Military Museum over my left shoulder. Looks like a very nice morning. It's clear and 60 degrees out there. We're going to warm up to 86 today. It'll be another warm day. We eventually cool off. Tomorrow, 83, Friday, 83. And then Saturday, we do see some rain, a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm. That front moves through and drops the temperature. A high of only 73 Saturday and only 66 for the high on Sunday. Currently, again, it's 60 downtown.
The news continues at 6:23. This 15th day of the government shutdown is when many federal employees stop getting paid.
The Trump administration has found a way to keep paying members of the military, but for many others, the clock has run out.
There is no win. There is no value. There is no savings by continuing this government shutdown.
Alaska Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski.
Let's just end it. Let's get people back to work. Let's get people paid. Let's get functioning again.
A GOP spending bill to end the shutdown fell short for an 8th time in the Senate yesterday. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The parents of a Chicago teen who was thrown to the ground by what appeared to be a federal agent are demanding answers from ICE agents. 18-year-old Evelyn's parents say she and two friends were warning people that ICE agents were in the neighborhood when they were detained. CBS News Chicago's Marissa Sulik reports.
While we were there, we were trying to ask questions. When are they going to be released? What are the charges?
Evelyn's parents say they want someone to hold accountability.
Isn't the law officer supposed to protect and serve? Why would we lie about this?
Evelyn's parents say they plan to take legal action. We also reached out to Homeland Security to see if there were agents here in Hoffman Estates on Friday, but we did not hear back.
Hoffman Estates Police says ICE was in the area.
A fence around a suburban Chicago ICE holding facility is supposed to be taken down by midnight out of concern it poses a danger to the town of Broadview. That town's fire department got a court order to have the fence removed because it blocks emergency response access. Here's CBS's Darius Johnson in Chicago.
Illinois Department of Transportation crews installed new concrete barriers outside the ice processing facility and along 25th Avenue in Broadview yesterday, adding another layer to what many already call a fortress. The mayor says they are meant to keep protesters safe and protect residents when demonstrations spill into the street. It comes as the village waits for ICE to take down the fence after arguing for weeks now that it's been blocking the road for emergency response crews.
Some members of the Texas National Guard who were recently sent to Illinois have been sent back home because of their appearance.
There was criticism of the physical fitness or lack thereof of some of the National Guard troops after photos and videos were circulated when they arrived at a training center in Elwood. Some noted the defense secretary's remarks during a speech to military leaders about fat troops, generals, and admirals being unacceptable.
It's a bad look. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And that's why today at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over.
A statement from the Texas National Guard says a small group out of the 200 soldiers sent here do not meet standards and have been sent home. Mike Krauser for WWJ News Radio 950.
Another major auto investment in the Midwest bypasses the St. Louis region. Automaker Stellantis saying it'll invest more than $600 million to reopen its plant near Chicago, creating 3,300 jobs. A reminder of our own region's loss of auto manufacturing, including the closure of the then Chrysler plant in Fenton years ago. The Illinois investment ensures thousands of jobs will stay in the Chicago area, while St. Louis continues to look for ways to replace the manufacturing jobs it has lost.
The union supporting air traffic controllers handed out leaflets about the shutdown at some airports around the nation, including Ronald Reagan National, warning that staffing and safety is at risk.
National Air Traffic Controllers Association President Nick Daniels warns that the shutdown is putting travelers in jeopardy, with workers worried about paying bills.
And this introduces a new risk to aviation.
This air traffic controller at New York's LaGuardia says
it's more of a stress on the individual because the job's stressful enough as it is.
The union is calling on lawmakers to get workers paid. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Big changes for St. Louis's largest airline. Here's a look inside.
Southwest Airlines is reworking its 737s to fit with assigned seats, multiple classes of seat, and no more bags fly free. Inside one of the spec planes, CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve, who says the new premium seats are getting 3 extra inches.
If we go further back in the airplane, you're going to see the extra legroom seats give way to these seats, which are your standard legroom. The whole idea here is as they roll out assigned seating, they have the extra legroom section. If you don't want to pay for that, you can get the standard section. And then there'll be a basic fare that will allow you to basically not get a seat assignment until you show up at the airport, but still have a seat on the plane. Also, the exit rows will give you some extra space as well.
He also reports the overhead bins are larger because checked bags are going to cost. Changes happen in January. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
628 Time Check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. There's something I really don't want you to miss out on. So if you have the ability right now, just take out your phone and go to your camera and see what you're doing on October 20th or 23rd. because Sachs Financial is holding another Social Security workshop. It's called Maximizing Social Security, and it's going on at the Lodge de Pere. Starts at 6:30. It's not going to be long. They're not going to sell you anything or make you eat some rubber chicken dinner. It's just information from Jeff Sachs and the team at Sachs Financial as part of their Adult Financial Education Foundation. Because as Jeff will tell you, more than 90% of all Social Security recipients don't maximize their benefits, and it can have a huge impact on the total amount of benefits that you stand to receive over your lifetime. So whether you're single, married, divorced, widowed, there may be ways to maximize the lifetime Social Security benefits that you get. He'll explain everything and answer all of your questions. So, it could be $100,000 either way. Just think about that. Just go to retiresafestl.com/events. retiresafestl.com/events. Again, the next Maximizing Social Security workshop is the 20th and 23rd of this month at the Lodge de Pere. You just need to register. retiresafestl.com/events.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Clear skies, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news. They made quick work of the crash, Debbie, on southbound 170 at the ramp to eastbound 64. The crash has been cleared. There's still a backup from the Parkway down through Brentwood Boulevard. By the time you get to the Club Tower, the pace is picking up, so it ought to thin out pretty quickly. We're getting more volume on the other highways. Northbound 55, still a little slow down at 67. The right lanes. North of Merrimack Bottom, midway up to Butler Hill, kind of busy in spots up to 270. It's backed up from the Union Road overpass up to Weber right now. North 270, a little slow through Gravois. North of Doherty Ferry up to about Clayton Road is kind of heavy. Again, not a jam, but it is slow. More volume on southbound 61. It's north of Highway P now, down to 64. Eastbound 70, you've got a little slowdown at 64, and 64 itself past Prospect is a little off the pace. Northbound Tesson Ferry coming up through DeMattis looks a little congested. Downtown, a little heavy traffic just as you approach the Poplar Street Bridge, but otherwise Illinois interstates are looking good. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Heather Zaire says we're going to have a sunny to partly cloudy day today. Very warm, high of 86 degrees. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 63. Tomorrow, very warm again. Some clouds, but mostly sun, high 83. And then Friday, still warm with clouds and sun, high again 83. It's Saturday when a front moves through and we get some heavy thunderstorms along with it, high 73. Sunday's high only 66. It's 60 right now.
A secret burner phone landed St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery behind bars. Prosecutors argued in court yesterday that Montgomery used that phone to discuss firing employees who are potential witnesses in his federal corruption case. That evidence, combined with testimony that the sheriff lied about his guns, led a judge to revoke his bond. Despite the calls for resignation from the Attorney General and Mayor Kara Spencer, Montgomery remained sheriff, with Colonel Yosef Yasharhala running the office.
This is a death investigation. There is not enough at this moment to identify or determine if there was, in fact, a crime that occurred.
That's St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy on yesterday's early morning fire in the 5900 block of Southwest. An adult man was found deceased, and bomb and arson investigators requested homicide to respond.
Our detectives are in the midst of that investigation right now. They are talking with neighbors. They are talking with anyone who may know this individual.
McCoy says an autopsy will also help confirm the cause of death.
A period of time, we allowed the fire to burn through the roof.
And St. Louis Fire Captain Garen Mosby tells KMOX that's because firefighters couldn't access the fire because the roof was intact.
Captain Mosby says having that roof intact was actually surprising.
Given the devastation to the surrounding buildings in the area from the tornado, it looks as if the building looked very structurally sound, upon arrival initially.
Now, firefighters had to be evacuated twice from the building, and eventually there was a catastrophic collapse. The firefighters continued to battle the blaze from the exterior of the church. There were no injuries reported. It's believed Bethel Christian Church is operational. However, there were no current services. Maria Aquina, KMLX News.
Illinois State Police announced the results of a major enforcement effort in the Metro East last week. 4-day operation targeted crime along I-55, 64, and 70 in Madison and St. Clair counties. Troopers say the special detail resulted in 5 arrests, 17 felony charges, and the recovery of a stolen firearm.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Money Minute coming up next. It's 6:34.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
It's 6:36. Your Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Apple CEO Tim Cook is pledging to boost investment in China during a visit to the country. China's Apple's biggest market outside of the U.S. and remains a key manufacturing hub for the company. While Apple has been diversifying its supply chain away from China over the past few years, it still makes the bulk of its iPhones in the country. Getting you ready for your trading day, stock futures are seeing gains this morning. Investors are expecting another interest rate cut from the Federal Reserve after comments yesterday from Chair Jay Powell. S&P futures are rising 40 points. Dow futures are up 170. Yesterday, the S&P 500 closed down 0.2% as trade tensions between the U.S. and China weigh on stocks. And Spotify is partnering with Netflix to bring some of its top video podcasts to the streaming service. Programs that will begin appearing on Netflix include the Bill Simmons podcast, The Zach Lowe Show, The Rewatchables, and Conspiracy Theories. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
If you're selling your home, you absolutely need the right agent. And this is a really important decision because it could be thousands of dollars that you are just throwing away if you don't have someone who can sell your home quickly and for the most money. Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty will sell your home. She guarantees it in writing. She and her team can take care of all the details of selling the home so that you can focus on other things like Kim and O'Fallon called Gloria Liu because her two previous agents failed to sell her mom's home. And in just a matter of days, Gloria got her multiple offers and sold the home for 99% of the listing price. So a win-win for everyone involved. 314-325-6888 is the number to call. 314-325-6888. And if you are interviewing agents, ask if they'll give you a written guarantee. I don't think they will, but Gloria will. And in fact, she will guarantee that she sells your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust. Someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL. Only on KMOX.
Roger Brand on traffic, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Most definitely getting busier out there, Tom. This traffic report's a service of Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Southbound 61, it's not a jam, but southbound 61 is slow south of Highway W, all the way down onto 64 at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Northbound 270, north of 55 to 44, and north of 44 all the way up to Ladue. Again, slow as you go. Northbound 55, short slow down into 67. The right lane south of Butler Hill through Mattis. All lanes from the Union Road overpass up through Virginia. They're pretty busy there. Downtown westbound 64 from the 70 split to about 3rd Street slow. Northbound Route 3 jam. Queenie up to Monsanto. Looks like we have a train crossing there. South 170 still a little busy from the U Club Tower south of Brentwood down to 64. That's from that recently cleared crash that was on the ramp to eastbound 64. And there's a crash with injuries reported northbound 67 at Papin Road. Not seeing any delays through there as of yet, thankfully. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. ChesterfieldFence.com. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Heather Zaire. Here we are in mid-October, Heather, and I think some people are wondering when fall is going to return.
Well, certainly we are looking at some changes coming up this week. So if you can hang on a little bit longer, we should be able to get you there. Yesterday's high was 83. Today, even warmer. We're headed up to 86 degrees. You can see already as we're starting to get a little brightening in the sky that there are definitely some blue skies that are going to be shaping up here. And I think we have more sun than clouds with that high of 86. Patchy clouds then tonight will drop down to 63. Then with sun and some clouds, we'll have a high of 83 tomorrow, so it's still warm, and we're still back to 83 with a few more clouds on Friday. Mostly cloudy on Saturday, though, and that's going to mark the arrival of a front that will bring a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms, and those storms can bring severe weather, including a risk for downpours, hail, damaging winds, and there's even a chance of a tornado. It'll also keep temperatures on the cooler side, dropping us down to 73 degrees. Then behind that front, we're going to be sunny but windy and cool with a high in the mid-60s on Sunday. 60 in St. Peter's right now, 63 in Florissant, and 65 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sports on the way in 2 minutes. A movie that has a KMOX sports connection. Soul on Fire, a St. Louis talent agency, was responsible for for booking a big part of the cast.
How bad is it?
He has burns to 100% of his body.
Want to send out a special hello tonight to a certain young man who's laid up in the hospital. His name is John O'Leary. He's a tough little guy.
Many of the roles portraying the tragedy and triumph of St. Louis motivational speaker John O'Leary were local actors. Caitlin Tadlock is a talent acquisition and booking agent with Talent Plus. She says there's more work ahead.
There is a film production coming in to the area that will start shooting soon, and that's going to employ, again, St. Louis talent and Missouri talent in front of the camera, behind the camera. It's a comedy. We're super excited to be working on this one.
Tadlock says she booked about 20% of the cast for Soul on Fire. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Forest Park is home base for a great horned owl population. Award-winning naturalist Mark Glenshaw tells Total Information AM they are an incredibly adaptive species.
I've seen owls in every corner of the St. Louis region. Illinois, Missouri, big yard, small yard, city, neighborhood, suburban neighborhood, rural, campuses, cemeteries, golf courses, greenways. They're all over the place.
Glenshaw has spent nearly 20 years observing a male great horned owl he named Charles. Charles has lost multiple mates and offspring over the years. He'll be giving a special presentation tonight at the National Great Rivers Research and Education Center in East Alton.
It was 74 years ago today that I Love Lucy premiered on CBS. It ran until 1957, continuously then since in syndication. I Love Lucy, a groundbreaking show, the first show to be filmed in front of a live studio audience, to have a production company owned by its stars, and to feature a pregnant woman on television.
Isn't that amazing? They couldn't show a pregnant woman. And they slept in separate beds, which when I was a kid, I thought, that's weird.
It's 6:45. You might be in bed tonight watching Blues hockey. It won't start till almost 9 o'clock, and it's a home game, the Blues and Blackhawks, unless you're going to it. If that's the case, have a great time, because Enterprise Center should be charged up tonight. The Blues prepared for it with what was described as a spirited practice. Here is Coach Jim Montgomery.
Well, it does. I mean, winning's fun. Doesn't matter if you're beating your kids at fish. It's still fun. And it shows because the pace of practice was really good. We got what we wanted to get done in preparation for tomorrow night. And it's hard. You learn through the experience in the league. And I think the benefit of sports science, like Ryan Podell's excellent for us. And I consult with him nearly every day, either about practice or when we should practice, timing, how long practice should be, and what type of drills, the length of drills. And we'll do that again tomorrow, in preparation with our morning skate, to give ourselves the best opportunity. And what is, everyone has it at least 3 times a year where you're at a big disadvantage coming back from the West Coast. And you're playing a team that's in their own time zone.
Blues are coming off back-to-back wins on the West Coast, or at least in Canada. They played Calgary and won, then they went out to Vancouver and won. The Seattle Mariners play tonight, Game 3 of the ALCS. They're at home in Seattle, and they're up 2-0 on the Toronto Blue Jays after winning both games in Toronto. That is what has taken place in Milwaukee, the home of the best team in baseball this year, the Brewers.
0-2 on Vaughn. Pitch 111 coming from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Strike 3 swinging. Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes the distance in Game 2. The Dodgers win 5-1 and take a 2-0 series lead in this championship series. Yamamoto's first complete game of his major league career, and the first Dodger complete game in a postseason game since Lima time in 2004. The first pitch of the night, a leadoff home run to Jackson Chourio. The next 110, absolutely nothing.
Wow. What has happened to the Brewers today? Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher and postgame analyst in WTMJ, will be our guest on the Gas House Gang as we try to figure out the NL Central champions and why they haven't been able to come through against the Dodgers, who are back at it tomorrow at home against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's in trouble right now. They cannot hit this Dodgers staff. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover right now. Buy 2 windows and get 2 free. No interest for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with KMOX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss it down, listen to the Chiefs on KMOX or KMOX on the Odyssey app. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who has the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busy highways, but it's not terrible. Just a lot of volume, at least no problems right now. Debbie, this traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. Southbound 61 still bogged down, approaching Highway P, all the way onto 64 at the Boulevard. If you're on northbound 270, backed up as you ramp on from 55, then it's slow pretty much all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue, that's kind of crowded as well. Northbound 55 approaching 67A, most of the way up to McNutt. You've got delays through there. The right lanes are busy. Butler Hill to 270. All lanes from Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. Stop and go. That train still crossing Route 3 at Monsanto. Southbound's backed up almost to the Poplar. And northbound is backed up, jammed actually, at Jerome. But westbound 64 is cleared out, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge as of this time. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Going to be warm today, a high of 86, says AccuWeather's Heather Zaire. Do we get any relief from this heat? Yes, we do. Tomorrow and Friday, highs of 83, but Saturday, we have a front coming through, a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm involved in that, a high of only 73. It'll really cool things off for Sunday, where we have a high of just 66 degrees. Currently a clear sky, 60 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. 2 executions in one day are carried out, one in Florida, the other Missouri.
Florida has carried out its 14th execution this year, a record for the state in a single year. 72-year-old Samuel Lee Smithers was convicted of the 1996 killings of 2 women whose bodies were found in a rural pond. In Missouri, 48-year-old Lance Shockley, who long maintained his innocence, was put to death Tuesday for shooting to death a Missouri State Highway Patrol sergeant in 2005. Prosecutors say he waited for hours near the home and shot the sergeant when he got out of his patrol car. Both Shockley and Smithers died by lethal injection. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says that a sharp slowdown in hiring poses a growing risk to the U.S. economy. Powell's comments Tuesday suggest that the Fed will likely cut its key interest rate twice more this year. Powell said in written remarks that despite the federal government shutdown cutting off official economic data, The outlook for employment and inflation does not appear to have changed much since their September meeting when the Fed reduced its key rate for the first time this year.
Law enforcement warning people across the country about a new trend targeting bank customers called bank jugging. Happens when criminals see you leaving a bank or an ATM, then follow you to steal the money you've withdrawn. Police in states like California, Alabama, Colorado, and Oklahoma all reporting an uptick in jugging recently. They say the best way to protect yourself is to hide your cash. Call 911 if you think you're being followed.
Criminal gangs in China are making big bucks with scam text messages.
You've probably gotten the text. You owe unpaid highway tolls or traffic tickets. The Department of Homeland Security tells the Wall Street Journal Chinese gangs have made more than $1 billion over the last 3 years with those scams. They're using server farms in the U.S. to blast thousands of those scam texts out each day and use phishing websites to collect credit card information.
The average monthly volume of toll scam messages has more than tripled in the past year.
Oh, a myth could be busted. The origins of a ratty hole on a Chicago sidewalk may have been uncovered.
Chicago's Splatitouille may not have been a rat at all. New research published in the journal Biology Letters finds it was most likely an eastern gray or a fox squirrel that got trapped in wet concrete on a north side sidewalk, leaving a rodent-shaped hole. An evolutionary biochemist and his team at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville made the determination after measuring the depression from snout to tail. It became an instant sensation when it appeared more than a year and a half ago. Locals nicknamed it the Chicago Rat Hole. The slab was later moved to City Hall. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
A pair of pitchers celebrating today. First of all, you have Jim Palmer. I'm not sure that Jim Palmer gets enough attention for how good he was. The Hall of Famer, 6-time All-Star, world champion, 3 different times, AL Cy Young Award winner 3 different times, also had a no-hitter on his resume. Jim Palmer is 80 today.
And an underwear model.
I knew you were going to say that. I know you too well. Jack Flaherty is 30 today, the former Cardinals pitcher, now a member of the Detroit Tigers.
Birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. If you would like a birthday or anniversary announced during our birthday segment, just email it to us at totalam@KMOX.com. That's totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Teresa Howell in Belleville, Catherine Gallagher, and also Juanita Escant from the Life Group.
This is the best birthday ever.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer, Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind.
Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie's.
$5 Eddie? Man, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie?
Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5.
Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 going on in there.
And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again.
Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on.
Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio.
Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine.
Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies?
Only Eddie boy.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community, proudly recognizing the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. Known as CASTLE, the agency is one of a network of community action agencies coming together to transition people out of poverty poverty towards self-sufficiency. Castle serves 44,000 people in St. Louis County every year. Learn more about the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County at caastlc.org. That's caastlc.org.
This is Blake Trevunza, Commercial Relationship Manager at Busey. The Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, also known as CASTLE, helps people move from crisis to stability. With housing, food, health, legal aid, education, and more, CASTLE empowers families to break the cycle of poverty. Take action yourself and find out more about CASTLE, the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Hey, let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the biggest jam we have right now, Tom, is on Route 3 at Monsanto. We have a train crossing there. Southbound Route 3 is jammed almost back to the Poplar Street Bridge, and northbound Route 3 is jammed about midway between Camp Jackson and Jerome. So really solid bumper-to-bumper traffic through there. Other than that, for Illinois drivers on the interstates, it's just a little busy approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. There's a little slowdown right at Route 3. If you're on northbound Highway 270, bogged down as you ramp on from 55 pockets up to Gravois, north of 44, most of the way up to Ladue. Southbound 270, all of the Ladue is busy. Southbound 61, south of P, onto 64, up to 364 is pretty heavy. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, October 15th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. CBS News sits down with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to talk peace process.
It's payday. I'm Tom Ackerman, but many federal workers will go without pay.
I'm Sean Malone. Coming up, I take you inside the courtroom where St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery learned whether or not he's going to jail.
Meantime, the mayor says that the sheriff is only prioritizing himself and he should quit or be removed. I'm Michael Calhoun with more reaction.
After 7 drownings in a decade at Rockford Park in Jefferson County, a bill passes to ban anyone from getting in the water.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayers. Sun will mix with a few clouds today with a very warm high of 86.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 7 o'clock in mid-America.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 15 of the government shutdown, and even partial paychecks will stop soon. Last night, the Senate once again failed to pass a spending bill. Correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is on Capitol Hill.
In the past week, many federal workers received their final paychecks. Air traffic controllers were among those who received a portion of what they are owed. They won't be paid again until the shutdown ends.
Thank you very much.
Many fanned out at airports across the country, urging lawmakers to open the government.
Most controllers around the country are already working 6 to 8 work weeks, 10-hour days. They shouldn't have the extra burden of worrying about when they're going to get paid.
Military members will get paychecks today after the president ordered Pentagon funds rearranged. Days after Mr. Trump's peace plan took effect in Gaza, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is defending his tough stance in an exclusive interview with CBS Morning's Tony DeCopel.
The most important thing in destroying fanaticism is to destroy a certain hope, the hope that the fanaticism will achieve its results. When people know Israel is here to stay, you're not going to destroy the Jewish state.
There's new strain on that fragile ceasefire. Today, the IDF revealed one of 4 bodies returned to Israel this week is not a hostage, but a Palestinian. The Supreme Court revisits congressional redistricting today. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
At issue is whether race-conscious gerrymandering violates the Equal Protection Clause, a legal conclusion this court has already made with affirmative action. Invalidating Section 2 might change the voter compositions in 19 congressional districts.
There's a healthcare walkout in the West. CBS's Carissa Lawson.
Tens of thousands of Kaiser Permanente nurses and healthcare workers have gone on strike in California, Hawaii, and Oregon, demanding better wages and staffing. The workers are requesting a 25% pay increase over 4 years. The 5-day strike is expected to end this weekend.
California's Democratic gubernatorial candidate Katie Porter is expressing remorse. after she tried to storm out of an interview with CBS News California this month.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Another interview with Politico captured her swearing at a staffer in her first public comments since, Porter tells Fox News in Sacramento.
I want people to know that I understand that I could have handled things better.
Polls show Porter with a narrow lead in the race to replace Governor Newsom. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
It is 7:04 and we've got clear skies. It is 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is behind bars for using a burner phone while on house arrest.
Seeing no other option, a federal judge has revoked Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's bond and handed him over to the custody of U.S. Marshals. Inside the courtroom, federal prosecutors revealed the phone call at the heart of their superseding indictment, adding felony charges, was used with a burner phone Montgomery obtained sometime after his bond began. Montgomery's attorneys asked a new condition be added to his release, making all employment decisions come from a committee of 3 individuals. However, the judge took issue with one of them being Sheriff's Attorney David Mason and the other being the department's second in command, Colonel Yosef Yasharallah, who a pretrial officer testified Montgomery described as a close friend. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Outside the courthouse, Montgomery's attorney Justin Gelfand was upset they were unable to turn the hearing into a mini trial.
Counts 4, 5, and 6 of the superseding indictment, Judge Mason was prepared to testify under oath, given a lifetime of integrity that this man has earned, that Sheriff Montgomery, based on his firsthand knowledge, did not commit these crimes.
I'm Michael Calhoun with reaction from Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, who's in the midst of that, quote, Warrento fight to get Montgomery removed from office. She says it's impossible to do your job from behind bars. Montgomery should resign immediately. Mayor Kara Spencer also issued a statement that says, quote, the absurd situation at the sheriff's office has reached new heights and must now come to an end. I urge Sheriff Montgomery to do what's right for the city and resign his office. Board of Aldermen President Megan Green also calls for him to resign and says the Board of Aldermen takes its responsibility in coming up with a successor seriously and is committed to an open and transparent process.
A pro-life group is now calling on lawmakers to eliminate an entire Missouri appeals court after it ruled against the state. The call came yesterday after the Western District Court of Appeals rejected the Attorney General's request to reinstate abortion restrictions. In a statement, the group MO Protects said lawmakers should move to eliminate the Western District altogether for its ruling. The court's decision, which keeps abortion available at Planned Parenthood clinics, called the state's legal arguments disingenuous.
State Senator Rusty Black has been given one of the most powerful positions in the Missouri legislature, the Senate Appropriations Committee chair. Black, a Republican from Chillicothe, points out that next year will be different as mass federal funds to fight the COVID pandemic and its aftermath are drying up.
As those monies draw back, yeah, I'm going to have friends, including me. I'm going to have to look at some things and make choices that maybe both choices aren't the best in the world, but I'm going to have to make one.
He points out federal dollars had made up a third of the state budget in 2017, but has grown 45% in the wake of the pandemic.
The future use of the former St. Luke's Hospital campus in Des Peres is open for discussion for nearby residents tonight.
The city of Des Peres is hosting an open house gathering at the Lodge Des Peres from 5 to 8 p.m.
The goal is to allow neighbors the chance to share their thoughts on the future use of the former hospital complex. While De Pere Mayor Mark Becker says the city is deeply disappointed by the closure of the hospital, he acknowledges what he calls the hospital's invaluable contributions to the community over the past several years. Mayor Becker says St. Luke's is working with the city on future site plans. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
From the business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, Rooster in Clayton is closing. Its last service will be Sunday, October 26th. According to the Business Journal, the landlord of the Carondelet Plaza property is suing Bailey's Restaurant Group for unpaid rent and fees. Rooster owner Dave Bailey says that the current economic climate has presented challenges they could not fully overcome. The lasting impacts of COVID, rising cost of goods, and increased rent. This third iteration of Rooster has been open for about a year. Other Rooster locations are in downtown St. Louis and South Grand.
Traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to the Village at Twin Creeks in Cottleville. Grand opening Saturday, October 18th. This exclusive community features just 9 estate-sized home sites with floor plans ranging from 2,600 to 4,000 square feet. The Village at Twin Creeks offers the perfect blend of luxury and lifestyle and is walking distance to quaint shops and restaurants on Main Street. Located west of Highway N and north of St. Charles Street, this is your chance to build the home you've always imagined in one of St. Charles County's most desirable locations. For more, visit lombardohomes.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get you updated on traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing all right. Just busy out there right now, Debbie. Some good news, though, for folks traveling up Route 3 in the Cahokia-Sauget area. We had that train crossing in Monsanto. Looks like it cleared because the southbound side is completely thinned out, but northbound is still jammed just north of Jerome, most of the way up to Monsanto, so it's still pretty tough going that way. If you're on westbound 64, looks like we have an incident near 25th Street. There's a little bit of a backup there, and then it's slow west of 3rd Street onto the Poplar Street Bridge. Northbound 55, usual slowdown into 67 from the Union Road overpass up to River de Pere, backed up. North 270 backed up 55 most of the way up to Tesson Ferry. It remains slow through Gravois and then Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue, that's busy. Southbound 61 a little bit better, but still south of Highway P. It's heavy down onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard through the Winghaven area, 94 to Research Park, a little crowded as well. Eastbound 70, slow at Highway Z up to 64. There was a crash on the shoulder there, but after that, you're good to go into downtown. And northbound 67 at Papper Road, that crash no longer blocking any lanes, so it shouldn't be too bad running through there. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy skies today. It's going to get quite warm with a high of 86 this afternoon. Patchy clouds and a low of 63 tonight, then very warm again tomorrow. We'll have sun and some clouds with a high of 83. High again, 83, still quite warm on Friday. Clouds and sunshine as well. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's clear and 60 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:12. Jefferson County Council members voted last night on a new parks regulation,
which prohibits entry from Rockford Park into the Big River for swimming and or wading.
Rockford Park, formerly known as Rockford Beach Park, had a drowning death and 2 near drownings this summer. One council member voted against the ban, saying, although it will save lives, liberty means more.
Jefferson County is set to rename its government center building after its very first county executive. Ken Waller was most recently state representative. He died in August at the age of 63. Councilman Tim Brown defended Waller's legacy as a Jeffco visionary.
There are no perfect humans, right? We're imperfect, which means there are no perfect politicians, right? And I think this county needs to come together and start supporting our politicians and our candidates, and especially those in our party, versus trying to pick out the flaws, the 1 or 2 things that makes them imperfect and attacking them.
When Waller jumped into politics at the turn of the century, Jeffco's elected officials were all Democrat. By the time of his death, the county offices were held entirely by Republicans.
Illinois Senator and Iraq War veteran Tammy Duckworth recovering from a medical procedure her office says was pre-planned surgery at Walter Reed Medical Center to address lingering pain from her combat injuries. Duckworth lost both legs in 2004 when the Black Hawk helicopter she was co-piloting was shot down by an RPG in Iraq. A spokesperson says Senator Duckworth expects to be back on Capitol Hill later this week.
All this week, every 4th grade student in Jefferson City's public schools will be exploring the Missouri River. An educational program called Missouri River Days will feature boat trips with guides and chaperones, a guided hike along the riverbanks, and talks with a fisheries biologist. Kristen Schulte is with Missouri River Relief, the organization that's sponsoring the program.
So we partner with local agencies to teach kids what it means to be a river scientist. And, a lot of them come to this field trip thinking, science is something that happens in a lab, and that scientists wear lab coats and they move things from one beaker to the other. But science can happen in a lot of different ways.
Missouri River Relief also sponsors the annual MR340, the world's longest nonstop river race.
This was 37 years ago today from the KMOX archives.
A home run for Gibson, and the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw.
That famous call, of course. Kirk Gibson of the LA Dodgers stunning Oakland A's Dennis Eckersley with a home run in the bottom of the 9th. I can't believe what I just saw.
Tomorrow's the anniversary of Jack Clark's home run at Dodger Stadium in the top of the 9th, the one that toppled the Dodgers and sent the Cardinals to the World Series. We'll have some fun with that tomorrow morning for sure. We had a great time with Ozzie Smith yesterday on the Gas House Gang, reliving the Go Crazy Folks home run, everything that went into that. And afterwards, it was a lot of fun. You can go to the Gas House Gang podcast anytime. It's at KMOX.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Today's guest on the Gas House Gang, we're going to be trying to figure out what in the world has happened to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers lost yesterday to the Dodgers again, and Jerry Augustine, who's a post-game analyst on WTMJ, will join us. How often have we talked about the Brewers and everything that they do, everything that they try to accomplish, and what a season they've had. They are 2 losses away from it all coming to an end. And last night, it was because of Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
0-2 on Vaughn. Pitch 111 coming from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Strike 3 swinging. Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes the distance in game 2. The Dodgers win 5-1 and take a 2-0 series lead in this championship series. Yamamoto's first complete game of his major league career and the first Dodger complete game in a postseason game since Lima time in 2004. The first pitch of the night, a leadoff home run to Jackson Chourio. The next 110, absolutely nothing.
The call on the Dodgers radio network, Yamamoto threw a 3-hitter, the first postseason complete game in 8 years as the Dodgers beat the Brewers 5-1. Dodgers hammered them in game 1 with pitching from Blake Snell, who allowed 1 hit over 8 shutout innings for a 2-1 victory. The Brewers are in trouble right now unless they can find their offense. They are slumping, and the Dodgers are cruising, heading home. This is a dramatically different approach than the one the Dodgers took last year when starting pitchers worked 6 innings in only 2 of their 16 postseason games. They have 7 quality starts in 8 playoff games this year, and their starters own a 1.54 postseason ERA. The Seattle Mariners are hosting tonight the Toronto Blue Jays, and they have been doing it with everything, offense and pitching. That is a very good team up there in Seattle. But Toronto's capable of doing some damage. We'll see what they can do. 7:08 start tonight. Seattle's up 2-0 in that series. The Mariners are going to go with right-hander George Kirby. The Blue Jays are going to counter with right-hander Shane Bieber. Blues and Blackhawks tonight at Enterprise Center. It's an 8:30 listed start, but it actually won't start till about 8:52 as TNT is televising that game. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, coming to Missouri soon. December 1st, finally you'll be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports, and it could not come at a better time of year with football, basketball, hockey. It's all happening, and with FanDuel, tons of ways to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from the money line, over-under, bet the spread, or look to the future. Maybe you know who the MVP is going to be or win Coach of the Year, or what team's going to win the championship. You can do that with FanDuel. Plus, with live betting, you can even pick what player's going to score the next touchdown and the one after that while the game is going on. Download the FanDuel app and get familiar with it, because the app will be live to use December in Missouri. You can see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to download the app. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The mission statement of Gamma Tree Experts is to provide the best quality tree care to their clients with their talented staff providing value guaranteed. Gamma Tree Experts, they're committed to every customer to provide exceptional service and to bring premium practices to every client. Customer satisfaction is #1 with Gamma Tree Experts, and that's why they've grown their client base over the years. Gamma Tree Experts, believe it or not, has been in business since 1954. They go that far back, and they take ownership of the decisions they make. They expect 100% responsibility and accountability from their staff, and their staff is exceptional. They know that the tree industry continues to grow and change, and Gamma Tree Experts leads that growth and innovates change. All you have to do is go to gammatree.com to learn all about them. Residential, commercial, municipal service, and a commitment to excellence. Your trees deserve the best care. Gammatree.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's go to Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we continue to see improvement on northbound Route 3. I think we'll call it stop-and-go pockets now from Queenie up to the Poplar Street Bridge due to an earlier train that was crossing in Monsanto. And once you get there, westbound 64, that's bogged down from Baugh Avenue all the way to the Poplar as well. Eastbound Highway 70, Wentzville Parkway into 64 is slow. We had a crash on the shoulder there. It's a little busy from 370 and through Cave Springs as well. Southbound 61, that's a lot better. Backed up Wentzville Parkway onto 64, which is slow to the Boulevard. A brief delay through Winghaven. Kind of off the pace again, 94 to Research Park, Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake, and around the Interbelt, westbound 64 Hampton through Bellevue, seeing the little volume. South 270, 364 down to 64 is busy. North 270 is your ramp on from 55, sort of pockets up through, but it's really off the pace all the way to Ladue pretty much. On northbound 55, delays north of 61 now into 67, and again north of A. The right lanes through Butler Hill, all lanes Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, and Holly Hills, Virginia area looks a little busy. And Telegraph northbound north of Herb, getting all the way up to Pottle is stop and go. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be summery all week long until the weekend when some storms cool things off. Today, we're going to have sunny to partly cloudy skies and 86 degrees. 83 tomorrow and Friday. Again, we're looking at showers and heavy thunderstorms on Saturday. Right now it's clear and 59.
Weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life, rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peters, chucksboots.com.
The news continues at 7:22. The federal government shutdown has surpassed 2 weeks. President Trump promising to use the opportunity to shutter programs and departments favored, he says, by Democrats and shut those down for good. Here's John Stolness from Washington.
I haven't said it probably as bluntly as I just said it, but so we are closing up Democrat programs that we think that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.
President Trump making it plain that some Democrat-backed programs that he calls semi-communist in nature won't return. And while he failed to give specifics yesterday, he promised administration officials would present a list of targeted programs on Friday. Meanwhile, more than 200 civil rights workers at the Education Department have been fired after an appeals court allowed for their dismissal. Congressional Democrats from Maryland and Virginia gathered in front of the White House Budget Office to protest what they say are illegal mass layoffs during a shutdown. Democrats continue to insist on negotiations with Republicans over the coming expiration of Obamacare tax cuts that they insist must be resolved before agreeing to vote for a continuing resolution already passed by House Republicans. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
By the way, the majority of states that benefit in terms of their people getting health care from the Affordable Care Act tax credits are states that Donald Trump won.
The Senate once again yesterday failed to pass that CR. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Republican leaders can say all they want, there's nothing to negotiate. But if Republicans don't change course, then very soon 20 million Americans are going to face financial catastrophe when their health care premiums go through the roof.
One thing Republicans say will happen is the military will get paid, even if that means the Trump administration has to move around congressionally mandated funds to do so. House Speaker Mike Johnson isn't worried about potential lawsuits.
If the Democrats want to go to court and challenge troops being paid, bring it, okay? I'm grateful for a commander-in-chief who understands the priorities of the country, the necessity of national defense, and the urgency that we all feel and have voted for 8 times. Republicans have voted in Congress 8 times now between House and Senate to fund the troops and pay federal workers in all these essential jobs and agencies, because we understand the necessity of that.
Members of the military would have missed their first paycheck starting today. It does not appear any progress has been made on the two sides coming together. John Stolness, Washington.
President Trump honored the late Charlie Kirk at the White House. Stacey Lynn was there.
From the White House Rose Garden.
Today we're here to honor and remember a fearless warrior for liberty.
Mr. Trump awarded the late conservative activist with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
It's my privilege to posthumously award Charles James Kirk, our nation's highest civilian honor.
He presented the medal to Kirk's widow, Erica, who thanked the president
for honoring my husband in such a profound and meaningful way.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump has proclaimed peace in the Middle East in the war again between Israel and Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in order to obtain full peace, Hamas would need to not only disarm, but that all weapons must be removed from Gaza, a precondition for new governance and reconstruction. Netanyahu spoke with CBS Morning's co-host Tony DeCopel.
Take me into the future. Paint me a picture of when this is over. What will it take for you to say it's done and we've won?
Well, I think that for the foreseeable future, not only for Israel, but for the free world and for the civilized world, you have to maintain your ability to defend yourself, because freedom is not permanent, nor is it automatic. If you cannot defend free societies, they will be overtaken by authoritarian or totalitarian regimes. There's no other way.
It sounds like 100 years with the sword is going to be another 100 years.
No, I think not. I think not. I think, in fact, that I think that the way you purchase peace is through strength. I made peace with 4 Arab states, with President Trump, when everybody said it's not going to happen. Netanyahu doesn't want peace. I made 4 historic peace agreements in 2 months with people who had shown me that they really want peace with us. And I'm telling you now that we have an opportunity to broaden that peace. Following the chain of victories, it's not yet finished, but it's getting there. I hope it'll be there very soon and very peaceful, I hope. I think we have an opportunity to make peace with many, many more. And that will be, I think, the greatest gift we can bring the people of Israel, the people of the region, and the people of the world.
This time check at 7:27 is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Just a little tip. Sometimes you do need some help and you need an expert on your side. And Yansky Law is there for you. If you have been named as an executor or trustee to someone's estate, it is an honor. No doubt if it's someone who you were very close to, you're grieving and dealing with a lot of things. And there's also now the responsibility of executing your responsibilities. Call Yansky Law because they understand how overwhelming the process can be. And you should know that there are a lot of complex legal steps involved. And in Missouri, it requires that you use an attorney for all probate matters. And even with a trust, it's complex. So Yansky Law can help you with every single step or do it for you. Sometimes going through probate can take a year or more, and you need someone you can trust. Martin Yansky has decades of experience. Find him online right now at janskylaw.com. And that is spelled with a J. Looks like Jansky, Jansky. It's janskylaw.com, or call 314-881-6141, 881-6141. And remember that the choice of a lawyer is an important decision, should not be based solely on advertisement. janskylaw.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
It's 7:30. Sunrise was at 7:11, clear and 60 degrees right now downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're getting out on the highways right now, just a lot of slow traffic for pretty much everybody, though, at least on the normal routes. Northbound 55 is slow north of 61. Most of the way up to 67, little longer delays through there. The right lane's Butler Hill to 270. And then we have stop-and-go pockets coming up the hill from Green Park up across River to Pear. North 270, a brief backup as you ramp on from 55. But then it's just basically off the pace all the way to Ladue. Southbound 270, 364 down to Ladue. That's busy. Eastbound 70, east of David Hokel Parkway into 64 is slow. Little volume between K and TR Hughes. The Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road is kind of busy. Southbound 61 is pretty well cleared out right now. 64, though, has the volume coming through Winghaven. 94 to Research Park. Boone's Crossing to almost Timberlake. And then briefly at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 from the Science Center headed out to Hanley's. Heavy. South 170 is kind of off the pace at Brentwood. Downtown Route 3 looking a lot better. I just call it really Monsanto up to the bridge backed up. 64, though, 25th Street to the Poplar. There's a lot of heavy traffic. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from AccuWeather's Heather Zare. A warm one today, high 86. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 63. Tomorrow, warm again, high 83. Friday's high 83. Saturday, we'll see some rain, maybe a thunderstorm, and a high of only 73. And for Sunday, we cool off as a result of that front that moves through. Sunshine Sunday and a high of only 66 degrees. Currently, it's 60 in downtown St. Louis.
A secret burner phone lands St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery behind bars. Prosecutors arguing in court yesterday that Montgomery used that phone to discuss firing employees who are potential witnesses in his federal corruption case. That evidence, combined with testimony that the sheriff lied about his guns, led a judge to revoke his bond. After the ruling, the Attorney General and Mayor Spencer publicly urged Montgomery to quit. The sheriff is still technically in office, but Colonel Yosef Yasharhala will now be in charge of day-to-day operations.
An autopsy will also be conducted. That will help us really get an idea of how this individual died.
St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy on the fatal fire in the 5900 block of Southwest early Tuesday morning. What makes this case different, St. Louis homicide detectives were called in after the man was found deceased inside the home.
We'll start to get a picture of, and we'll interview anyone who could potentially shed light on exactly what happened leading up to the fire, and then ultimately how the man died.
There are several unconfirmed reports circulating that the victim was having a mental crisis the night before, but at this point, St. Louis police will not confirm that or any of the witness accounts.
A church goes up in flames in northwest St. Louis and poses a risk for firefighters.
This is an area of St. Louis that was part of the May 16th tornado, but St. Louis Fire Captain Garen Mosby says the structure at Dick Gregory and North Market was already in flames when firefighters arrived.
It looks like it started in the rear of the basement, and then through various voids, pre-existing throughout the church, just spread throughout in various places. The commander at the time, the conditions got worse, and so he evacuated the building.
Firefighters went back in to fight the fire, but again, they had to be evacuated because the conditions had worsened. Firefighters were looking for people inside. That search proved negative. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It is now 7:36. Time for your money report. It's from Bloomberg, and it's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. More and more people are listening to audiobooks. In 2024, sales of audiobooks jumped 13% from the prior year, according to the Audio Publishers Association. Meantime, Spotify says the number of people who are listening to audiobooks rose 36% in the past year. Majority of the folks who are listening are under the age of 35. Over the past 2 years, Spotify has tripled its catalog to 500,000 titles. Turning to trading, stocks are on the rise this Wednesday. Wall Street has been reassured by Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell that another interest rate cut is coming, and that's supporting the markets. Dow futures are up 180 points, S&P futures gaining 40. and an industrial firm that makes plastic parts for the automotive, packaging, and construction industries, is close to a deal to become a private company. Sources tell us that Hillenbrand is in talks to be acquired by buyout firm Lone Star Funds. Hillenbrand's customers include Dow and General Mills. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
For those who seek more.
This is about me and my legacy.
A vision of greatness yet to come.
I will not rest until I have taken everything.
Step through this gateway and live this wrestle dream. An AEW pay-per-view event. Live Saturday, October 18th from Chaffetz Arena in St. Louis. Tickets on sale now at AEWTIX.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Hold the onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It makes a big difference who's actually interpreting the mammogram images that you get. We make sure that we have an expert team of breast radiologists that specialize in reading mammograms to be sure that we can get you the most accurate read possible.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the huge savings.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Fridays mean football. From a zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered.
On 3, ready?
It's Friday football on KMOX.
It is now 7:40. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, lots of traffic out there right now. Debbie, this traffic reports service of SNL Coins at the peak of the rush hour. Eastbound 70 backed up David Hokel into Wentzville Parkway, slow to Z from Lake St. Louis in through Bryan Road, K to TR Hughes, a little sluggish. Cave Springs to Zembel, the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road busy. South 170 is kind of slow in spots from 270 down to 70, and then from Olive down to 64, a little more volume than we normally see there. Eastbound 364 through Highway K is heavy. Veterans Bridge most of the way to 141. Bennington to 270 is crowded. South 270, Dorset down to Ladue busy. North 270, stop and go pockets as you ramp on from 55 up through 44, and then it's slow from there up to Ladue. Eastbound Highway 64 through Winghaven, 94 to Research Park, a little busy. Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake. 270 up to Spady and approaching McKnight through Hanley's kind of heavy. Westbound 64 from the Science Center out through Bellevue's bumper to bumper. 44. 141 to the Merrimack, pretty busy. North 55, north of 61 to 67. The right lanes at Butler Hill, all lanes from Union Road up through Virginia. And westbound 64 at 25th Street, 5570 at Exchange, headed for the Poplar. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plate. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare, another warm one today.
One more, looks like 86 degrees. We're even amping things up over the high we had yesterday, which was 83. Now we are going to have some rounds of cloudiness. We are very close to the southern end of where there is a band of clouds just to our north. We're going to see rounds of sun and I think occasional cloudiness. The sun probably wins out over the clouds overall today. And again, we head up to 86 degrees. Patchy clouds then for tonight with a low of 63. Not a whole lot different tomorrow. High 83 with sun and some clouds. So it's still very warm, and not a lot changes into Friday as well. Still 83 for a high with clouds and sunshine. We do turn cloudier on Saturday, though, and the warmth begins to back off. We'll have a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms moving through the area as well, and those are likely to bring severe weather with risks for flooding downpours, hail, damaging winds. There is even a chance that there could be a tornado. We'll have a high of 73 on Saturday. Behind that front, very different weather. We've got sunny skies back for Sunday, but it's windy and cool with a high of 66. Right now, 60 in St. Peter's, 63 in Florissant, and 63 as well downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:43, and we've been telling you about the St. Louis film Soul on Fire. Well, a local talent agency helped with some of that casting.
We got a call from L.A. An LA casting director reached out.
Caitlin Tadlock is a talent acquisition and booking agent with Talent Plus. She ended up submitting 172 actors for auditions and booked about 20% of the cast. One of the bigger roles?
Ron Himes from The Black Rep, who played this role in the movie as the nurse that cleaned John O'Leary's room. And he's credited in the story of, keeping him safe.
Also, Kansas City area teen Stella Bratcher, who played O'Leary's sister in the film. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Well, some of the best pest control lives in Forest Park. Naturalist Mark Glenshaw has spent years observing great horned owls in the region. They help control small rodents and birds.
But they also eat not so small things like full-grown raccoons, skunks, turkeys, hawks, and more.
Glenshaw says if you do need to control rodents, use traps, not poison. He says many raptors meet a terrible end when they eat poison prey. Glenshaw will be giving a special presentation on Forest Park owls Wednesday night, tonight, at the Great Rivers Research and Education Center in East Alton, Illinois.
Looks like a St. Louis area staple is changing things up, selling their property and maybe opening elsewhere. Hacienda Mexican restaurant in Rock Hill caused a stir when it posted on its Facebook page that it was listing its property for sale, saying the maintenance of a 150-year-old building on 3 acres is a privilege and a challenge, especially the way business expands and contracts between the busy summer months and slower winter seasons. Hacienda will remain open for now, but is hoping to move to a new space.
Watched a few Blues games at Hacienda through the years. Blues play tonight against the Blackhawks at Enterprise Center. It's on TNT tonight. They say it starts at 8:30, but TNT, we know, does a little pregame show. It probably won't drop the puck there until about 8:52. So rest up if you're ready for some Blues hockey tonight, and if you're going, be prepared for a late evening. How's Missouri doing after losing to Alabama on Saturday? It was a good football game, but Alabama, I guess the cream rose to the top. Missouri's still trying to get there to that upper echelon of the SEC and win those big games. And now they're having to deal with coaching rumors. Eli Drinkwitz was asked yesterday in his press conference about in-season coaching speculation. His name has been connected to Penn State as rumors start to fly as to who Penn State will try to pursue to be their next coach. And Drinkwitz has had about enough of the rumors. Take a listen.
Eli, you talk weekly about blocking out distraction, both for you and your team, with coaching moves happening earlier and earlier. How do you compartmentalize like all the rumors and all the talk and the fact that your name will pop up various places?
Yeah, I kind of referenced at this. I got problems of my own, and I think the number one issue right now amongst college football is the noise that's associated with people's programs at all points of the season, whether good, bad, or indifferent. There's no such thing as journalistic integrity on social media. There's just wild, outlandish reporting. And anybody's name, I'll bet every sitting head coach has been listed as a candidate for some job so far. And as a team, as a coach, we got to ignore the noise and focus on the things that we can control, which is winning and losing football games. Last week it was really unfortunate that Kirby's name got associated to something that was a complete lie. He'd never interviewed, didn't talk to anybody at Arkansas. It's a bunch of bull crap put out there to try to create distractions and a narrative that then comes over after the fact, after the game. And it's really disappointing, all right, that this stuff happens, because again, Twitter ain't real, and it's just a bunch of bull crap thrown on message boards. So how do I block it out? I ignore it. And I get mad about it when people ask me about it.
That is Eli Drinkwitz at his press conference yesterday. The Missouri coach has a big game again. They play at Auburn this Saturday night. Baseball, it's game 3 of the ALCS tonight. It's in Seattle. The Mariners hosting the Blue Jays. Seattle took the first 2 in Toronto. They've never hosted a World Series game, never been to a World Series. The Mariners are going to try to change that here this week. The Dodgers are up 2-0 on the Brewers coming back to Dodger Stadium. Last night, Yoshinobu Yamamoto went the distance, a complete game as the Dodgers beat Milwaukee 5-1. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop. Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:50, and we do have some clouds downtown, but some sunshine as well. We'll get to the forecast after we check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, eastbound 70 is still slow east of David Hokel Parkway into Highway Z. A couple of spots between Bryan Road and T.R. Hughes and the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road. If you're on 364 across the Veterans Bridge to 141 and around Bennington, it's a little slow. 64 both sides of Winghaven, busy. It's bumper to bumper, though, from Boone's Crossing up to Clarkson. It's slow, 270 up to about Spady and right around the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out to Hanley's heavy. Lindbergh, Spady area a little slow. South 170 from 270 down to Airport Road and from north of Page, most of the way down to 64 is off the pace. Southbound 270, Dorset down to 64 is busy. North 270 bunches up periodically as you ramp on from 55 up through 44, and again all the way to Ladue is busy. 44 from 141 into 270. East of Elm into Laclede Station, a little volume. Northbound 55 into 67. The right lane's a little busy around Butler Hill. Approaching Union all the way up through Virginia is a heavy. 70 both ways around Jennings Station's a little slow. Eastbound 64 past Union Station's busy because of road work. Westbound 64, west 111, 5570 Exchange, heavy across the Poplar. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Here's that forecast from Heather Zaire. Warm, 86 for the high today, even hotter than yesterday. Partly cloudy, very warm. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 63. Tomorrow, warm again. Sun and some clouds, high 83. Friday, still quite warm, a high of 83. But Saturday, mostly cloudy. We're going to get a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, says Heather. And those storms can bring flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, maybe even a tornado. A high of 73 Saturday, and then that's going to really cool things off. Sunday, sunny but cool, and a high of only 66 degrees. Currently, we have sun in downtown St. Louis. It's 61 at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is behind bars. A judge has revoked his bond. Prosecutors argued he was using a burner phone to discuss firing employees who were potential witnesses in his corruption case.
A death row inmate was executed in Bonne Terre Tuesday night. 48-year-old Lance Shockley killed a state trooper in 2005.
Police have charged a man with killing his girlfriend as she got into a ride share. This happened outside the Mobil gas station on North Broadway. The driver sped off to the hospital, but the woman died.
A pro-life group is calling on lawmakers to eliminate an entire Missouri appeals court after it ruled against the state. The Western District Court of Appeals rejected the Attorney General's request to reinstate abortion restrictions.
Jefferson County officials banned swimming in Rockford Park on the Big River. There have been 7 drownings there in the last decade, including one this year.
You might see some snow plows on Missouri roads this week. There's no snow in the forecast. It's the annual winter operations drill, so crews can get ready for the winter.
This week, Illinois ex-Speaker Michael Madigan starts serving a 7.5-year sentence for corruption charges. As a new veto session begins in Illinois, some lawmakers want more ethics reform.
Illinois is sort of the national poster child for poor ethics.
State Representative Regan Deering of Decatur says to best serve the residents of the state of Illinois, the ethics issue is one that needs to be addressed head on.
This is a conversation that can happen in a bipartisan way. We all represent citizens across the state of Illinois, and they want us to do our job well. And I think if we're going to be elected officials and we're going to be serving in a very important role in state government, then at the very least, we should have a very firm policy on ethics.
From the Capitol, I'm Dean Abbott.
A leaked text chain of leaders of young Republican groups from across the country is raising eyebrows. This is an extensive report from Politico revealing racism, like referring to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, support for Hitler, joking about putting political opponents in gas chambers.
The vice chair of New York State Young Republicans referred to rape as epic. The Kansas vice chair used the N-word multiple times. The general counsel for New York said, "Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic." Politico has 2,900 pages of chats among dozens of millennial and Gen Z Republicans between January and August, showing what they call a dynamic of easy racism, casual cruelty, slurs, and violent fantasies.
ChatGPT is quickly becoming the wave of the future. Now, a big box retailer is teaming up with it. Here's correspondent Matt Piper.
Walmart is partnering with OpenAI to give shoppers a new feature that lets them complete purchases using ChatGPT. Users can ask it for things like best mattresses under $1,000 or a gift for an avid reader and buy suggested products from within the chat. OpenAI announced the instant checkout feature in late September and launched with Etsy. Now, using that checkout, shoppers in conversation with the AI-powered bot will be able to browse Walmart and Sam's Club's offerings through ChatGPT and complete purchases from within the app.
No word yet on when the shopping experience with Walmart will start.
It is 7:56. This is Total Information AM.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
When it comes to your garage door, you know there's only one place to reach out to, and that's Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Hey, they're hiring right now. If you'd like to find a great place to work, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is that place. They're hiring residential garage door technicians and installers in St. Louis, up to a $4,000 hiring bonus. Details apply. Paid training. Technicians drive a company vehicle, and benefits, which include health, dental, vision, and pension. All you have to do is go to overheaddoorstlouis.com and submit your information. They just ask for your name, your email, and your phone number, and what radio station sent you. You know the answer to that, of course, KMOX. And they will reach right out to you ASAP. Apply now for a job at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. I know that the technicians at Overhead Door are great. We've been working with them for well over a decade. They're always kind and always very, very well accomplished when they come over, well trained, and they do a great job. Same-day service 7 days a week, nights and weekends as well. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will tune up any brand of garage door. OverheadDoorSt.Louis.com, the genuine, the original.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got slow traffic on a lot of these highways, Debbie. If you're on northbound 270 from 55 all the way up to Ladue, busy. South 270, 364 down to Ladue, slow. Eastbound 64, long road all the way through Clarkson and a couple of spots east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. Northbound 55 from Union Road up through Virginia's heavy. Westbound 64, you've got delays west of 111 to the Poplar. Eastbound Highway 70, a little busy. Lake St. Louis into 79, the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have a warm day today. AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire says it's going to be partly cloudy, very warm with a high of 86 degrees. And then tonight, after a low of 63, we're back to 83 tomorrow. As for Friday, high again of 83. But Saturday, Heather says, mostly cloudy, not as warm, with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms. That front is not only going to bring flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, maybe even a tornado, but a high of 73 and really going to cool things off for Sunday. Sunshine, windy and cool, and a high of 66 degrees. We have some sun and 60 downtown at the Arch at 8 o'clock.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Belts tightening, shopping lists shortened as the government shutdown enters its 15th day. Thousands of federal workers have only received partial paychecks. Soon there will be none at all. Last night, the Senate failed once again to pass a bill to reopen the government. Correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is on Capitol Hill.
Members of the military will get their paychecks due today after the administration rearranged Pentagon funds at the president's direction.
Now, lawmakers here continue to get paid as is required by law, but the police officers who protect this Capitol have missed their first full paychecks, and the union that represents them is urging lawmakers to start talking and negotiate.
The Supreme Court hears arguments this morning in a redrawn congressional maps case. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
Depending on how the Supreme Court ultimately rules, a lot of states will go back and decide that they want to redraw district lines, particularly when we are leading up to the midterm elections and the balance of power in the House of Representatives is really up for grabs.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is speaking out to CBS News exclusively as a fragile ceasefire holds in Gaza.
I think that this is a transitional period, and we want to fashion a governance that works, that is not made of people who are committed to our destruction. Because if we put them there, then we'll just repeat it again and again and again.
Israel says one of 4 bodies returned by Hamas this week was not a hostage, but a Palestinian. Crews dismantled a fence surrounding an ICE facility in suburban Chicago just ahead of last night's deadline set by a judge. And another immigration agent tracker has been taken offline. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The page was taken down at the Justice Department's request. Attorney General Pam Bondi says it was part of an effort to dox and target the 200 ICE agents who are in Chicago as part of President Trump's immigration crackdown. Meta says the group was removed for violating its policies against coordinated harm. Earlier this month, Apple and Google blocked downloads of apps that tracked immigration agents.
Bad Bunny? He's not for country music fans who've started a petition on change.org to have George Strait replace him as the Super Bowl halftime show performer.
Sometimes I feel like Jesse James.
They say they're worried the 31-year-old Puerto Rican reggaeton star will turn the show into a political stunt after opting out of U.S. tour stops over concerns about ICE raids. Dow futures are up 244. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, October 15th. I'm Megan Lynch. A secret burner phone landed St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery behind bars.
Alfred Montgomery's seat in federal court faced west out the 15th floor window, overlooking the city that elected him sheriff just over 11 months ago. He was escorted out of that room by U.S. Marshals in their custody after a judge revoked his bond. At issue, Montgomery's latest actions that landed him felony witness retaliation charges and a recorded phone call that prosecutors say was made with a burner phone. Judge Bodenhausen took issue with the burner phone, saying as much as he would love to keep Montgomery out of jail because he is an elected official, he could not see any conditions he could place on Montgomery he was confident he would abide by. Shy of a successful appeal, Montgomery will be jailed until his trial, which has not yet been set. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Well, the sheriff, to be clear, remains the sheriff of the city of St. Louis. That's by the will of the people.
Montgomery's attorney, Justin Gelfand, outside the courtroom after his client's bond was revoked. How will Montgomery continue to serve in his role as sheriff from behind bars? Fellow attorney David Mason says the command staff know what the sheriff wants, but how will he communicate with them from jail?
If that ever becomes necessary, but at the moment, I don't see where that becomes necessary.
I'm Michael Calhoun with reaction to the Montgomery move. Mayor Spencer is calling on the sheriff to resign, calling this an absurd situation. She adds, quote, should he continue to only prioritize serving himself, I hope the court will move quickly to remove him. Our office stands ready to support the sheriff's office during a time of transition. A similar note from Board of Aldermen President Megan Green, who says that the board is taking a look at what the procedures would be to come up with a replacement. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has been trying to get him removed from office with that quo Laurento fight. She said in a statement, it's impossible to do your job from behind bars. Montgomery should resign immediately.
A Missouri court's decision to uphold abortion access yesterday triggered a drastic response from a pro-life group, a call to abolish the court itself. The Western District Court of Appeals unanimously rejected the state's attempt to bring back restrictions such as the 72-hour waiting period. In response, the group MO Protects declared that the court protects the abortion industry instead of protecting innocent children and said lawmakers should move to eliminate it. The ruling means the restrictions remain blocked pending a full trial in January. State Senator Rusty Black has received a promotion as chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee. Black tells Missouri Net affiliate KFEQ in St. Joseph that an immediate challenge the state faces is the reduction of the federal dollars which have been flowing into Missouri for COVID-19 relief.
We try to do as little harm as we can to the citizens and to those core services that people expect state government to provide.
Black, a Republican from Chillicothe, will lead the committee that's responsible for deciding what the state spends and does not spend. A program that gives fourth grade students an up-close education on the Missouri River will be resuming this week, this time in Jefferson City. Starting yesterday, then again on Thursday and Friday, every fourth grade student in the Jefferson City School District will explore the Missouri River by boat with guides and chaperones. Kristen Schulte with Missouri River Relief tells Missouri Net the day's activities will also have a land component.
They go on a guided hike through a floodplain forest. So they're learning about some of the tree adaptations that these trees have that are unique to surviving near the Missouri River. Another one is they meet a fisheries biologist.
It's all part of a program called Missouri River Days. The most recent field trip took place last month upriver in Boone County. With winter just around the corner, the Missouri Department of Transportation is getting its snowplow drivers ready. MoDOT says about 16% of its operators have less than a year experience, making this year's statewide training drill more critical than ever. The exercise will test emergency communications and ensure all equipment is inspected and ready to go. Motorists should be aware they will see an increased number of MoDOT vehicles on the roads throughout the day tomorrow. From the KMOX Business Desk, sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Looks like a St. Louis area staple is changing things up, selling their property and maybe opening elsewhere. Hacienda Mexican Restaurant in Rock Hill caused a stir when it posted on its Facebook page that it's listing its property for sale, saying maintenance of a 150-year-old building on 3 acres is a privilege and challenge, especially the way business expands and contracts between the busy summer months and slower winter seasons. Hacienda will remain open for now, but is hoping to move to a new space. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler, and let me ask you something. What if you could be 20 pounds lighter by Christmas? Well, that's what people are seeing with the $25,000 Operation Transformation Challenge from Supplement Superstores. It's 8 weeks, it's free, and it's happening right now. So don't sit back while everyone else gains weight this holiday season. This is your chance to get ahead. So when you join, you get everything you need to crush it. Custom meal and workout plans made for you. Diet-friendly recipes, including for the holidays. Weekly progress scans and accountability. Access to S2's private Facebook community. Weekly prizes and giveaways. 24/7 support from real trainers and nutrition experts. And here's the best part. The top transformation wins $10,000. And the new partner division, where you sign up with a friend, takes home $15,000. I already joined to keep myself on track through the holidays, and trust me, you don't want to wait until January to start. Spots are filling fast and signups close soon, so join Operation Transformation today at supplementsuperstores.com or stop by your local S2 before it's too late.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 8:10. Time to get to work and school. Roger Brand will help you. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling up northbound 270, Megan, we got a little trouble. It looks like a minor crash, but it's in the left lane, northbound 270, north of Gravois. So northbound 270 right now is backed up through Tesson Ferry, and it's still slow north of Gravois all the way to Ladue, so it's not making much of a difference yet. Southbound 270, 364 down to Olive, and then it improves after that. Eastbound 70 still a little slow, 5th Street to the Blanchette Bridge, 270 to the Rock Road, 64 Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake, Lindbergh and through the Interbelt's busy, westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, that's slow, 70 both ways around Jennings Station, still looks a little crowded, 44 barely a slowdown east of Big Bend, so that doesn't look bad now. Northbound 55 still delays into 67 from the Union Road overpass all the way up to Virginia. Eastbound 64 downtown, busy east of Union Station. Westbound 64 from 25th Street to the Poplar, that's still fairly slow. And westbound 5570 backed up between 159 and 157. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will be very warm with sun, some clouds, and a high of 86. Then we'll have patchy clouds and a low of 63 tonight. Still quite warm tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 83. Then quite warm again Friday. Times of clouds and sun with a high again of 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we do have sunny skies, 60 degrees in Florissant, 58 degrees in St. Peters, and sunny skies, 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Who's in control of your 401k? Some financial technology firms are offering participants of employer-sponsored plans access to outside financial advisors. One 401k administrator isn't happy. Fidelity Investments telling account holders they could lose consumer protections and even access to their accounts if they go that route. Joining me to explain what's happening and why is Thomas Dolman, professor of finance at St. Louis University and co-founder of Elemental Wealth Group. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So what's the issue for Fidelity Investments? Why do they appear to be concerned about this?
I would like to say that it's Fidelity purely being altruistic, looking out for plan participants, the security issues, those things. And while that might be part of the issue for Fidelity, as is the case in, with most of these large financial services firms, I have a, suspicion that this really ultimately comes down to money. It almost always does. So allowing outside advisors kind of outside of the Fidelity 401k ecosystem to provide this advice and to earn compensation for providing that advice could, it's my understanding, directly compete with programs that Fidelity themselves offer. So I suspect that is ultimately really what's going on here is Fidelity trying to control their ecosystem as much as possible so that they can control the fee income that's generated within it.
So if you're a participant of an employer-sponsored 401k plan, what do you need to know and what questions do you need to ask, for example, if you want to consider an outside advisor?
Yes, I think this is where, and this is near and dear to my heart, I have a lot of academic research in this area. We also provide advising to employers on their 401k plans. But advocacy and education is just paramount in this industry. And when I say that, I mean advocating for the participants and educating them and really laying things out to them, laying out the pros, laying out the cons, obviously always laying out the cost to these things. So, there may be situations where working with your advisor to help manage your 401k plan assets makes a lot of sense. There might be scenarios in which it doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's what participants ultimately need to understand. If they have a robust menu of many investment options to choose from in their 401k plan, then that might be where it might make sense to have an advisor providing you with, that professional management of your account, especially for those people who want the peace of mind knowing that that's being taken care of for them. I mean, ultimately, that's why a lot of people end up hiring financial advisors is they want the peace of mind of knowing someone's taking that off their plate. A professional is taking care of that for them. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have plans out there that have very limited plan menus. In a lot of cases, in those limited plan menus, it might make sense to just invest in the target date fund that's appropriate for your age. In that scenario, it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have an outside advisor helping you with your allocations, since the decision is much more simplified. Because at the end of the day, this extra advice is going to come at an extra cost. So you got to make sure that you're getting enough value for the additional costs that you're paying for that advice.
One of the fintech firms that is providing kind of this link between a company like Fidelity and some of these outside advisors is Pontera. So what's their role in connecting the accounts with that advisor?
Yeah, and in full disclosure, we actually have access to Pontera. We don't use it a lot, but essentially what Pontera is doing, so advisors cannot hold and store login credentials for their clients, right? I, as an advisor, I cannot have, a secure file with usernames and passwords so that I can just log directly into a client's 401k account and take a look around and manage their assets for them. Cannot do that. So what Pontera does is they stand in between the advisor and the 401k platform. They are the ones that get the credentials from the client, from the plan participant. They're the ones storing those credentials so that the advisors don't have direct access. And through the platform, the advisor has limited access to the overall account. So that the idea is we're really just trying to give advisors access to the investment options so that all they can really do is manage the assets, as opposed to, for instance, I don't know, changing beneficiaries or something like that. So that's the crucial role that Pontera plays. They are the ones that can structure this in a way that advisors can legally and securely access these accounts on behalf of their clients.
Now, one of the things that Fidelity has said, and I think we've seen some accounts in other reporting about people that have been blocked out of their accounts for a time because of concerns about the security of their accounts and the fact that they do have to share those credentials. Are those some valid concerns there?
I suppose there is, because Pontera and other fintech firms like Pontera obviously do need to store those credentials, and I'm sure they're using the highest standards of encryption. Probably, I have to imagine, bank level encryption. So from their perspective, I'm sure they feel very confident in their ability to securely store that information. But who's to say that it's not possible that their system could get hacked, or some an outside bad actor could get their hands on those credentials, in which case, that could be a problem. But any financial institution has to securely store credentials. Fidelity has to store credentials for their own clients, Schwab, et cetera. So, I'm sure there are some valid concerns around that, but I'm a little skeptical that that's the full story.
Well, I really appreciate your insight today, and thanks for joining us on KMOX.
Okay, I appreciate it.
That is Thomas Dolman, professor of finance at St. Louis University's Chaffetz School of Business and co-founder of Elemental Wealth Group, joining us this morning here on KMOX. Let's get a check of your ride into work so that you can keep adding to those investments. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news for 270 drivers, Megan. This traffic report is a service of H Smart Community Resources. They cleared that crash north 270 north of Gravois over to the right shoulder already. Still delays, though, backed up at about Tesson Ferry, and it's still slow north of 44, like the Marshall Road, Big Bend area is still jammed, but it's busy all the way up to Ladue. South 270 around 364 and Olive to Ladue, still a little volume there. If you're on eastbound 64, east of Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake, Lindbergh through the Innerbelt's heavy. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton to Hanley, that's still slow. Northbound 55, you still got a backup from Bayless up to River to Pear. Downtown westbound 64, better, but still slow from Baugh Avenue to the Poplar. And 5570 still has roadwork delays from 159 through 157. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we're going to have a sunny day today, warm with a high of 86. Clouds tonight, a low of 63. Right now, sunshine, 59 downtown at the Arch.
1 in 4 employees is also a caregiver. The CARES program connects them with expert support, helping reduce stress, boost retention, and save your business money. Learn more at hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561. Serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine.
and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use this directly.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. We hear day in and day out about the dangers of distracted driving. There's a lot of stuff we do in the car. We eat, we fiddle with music, we talk to passengers. But the most dangerous thing we do is get on our smartphones. CBS's Chris Van Cleve looks at Missouri in Eye on America.
On the interstate outside St. Louis.
We go right there.
It took Missouri State Trooper Brock Teague just minutes to spot a suspected distracted driver, taillight out and cell phone in hand.
We're just out enforcing the new cell phone law that just took place.
This time, she got a warning, but a ticket can cost $150 for a first offense, and it goes up from there for something Trooper Teague says he sees every day.
They're just as dangerous, if not more, than a drunk driver on the highway.
More dangerous than a drunk driver. That's saying a lot.
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
They're not paying attention to the road. They're not paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing.
That's what happened along this Columbia, Missouri road in 2019. A distracted driver who was video chatting and speeding crashed into volunteers picking up traffic cones after a triathlon. The crash killed Randall Siddons, a father of 3. His youngest was born just a month before he died.
They didn't get to know him, so, which is sad. He would have loved them. They would have loved him.
His widow, Adrian, pushed Missouri lawmakers to pass the hands-free law Trooper Teague is now enforcing.
Once it touches your family and you realize just how it only takes an instance.
Every day in the U.S., about 9 people die in distracted driving crashes. Missouri is one of 32 states in the District of Columbia with laws banning handheld cell phones while driving. The state has relied on police crash reports for distracted driving data, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Now, the Department of Transportation is aiming to identify distracted driving hotspots using data gathered anonymously and en masse from smartphones and vehicles. This telematics data can help identify erratic driving behaviors like hard braking and sudden swerving.
Our crash reports would tell you that somewhere around 10 to 15% of our fatal crashes involve a distracted driver. When you look at the telematics data, it indicates that it's probably closer to 1 in 3.
John Nelson is Missouri's highway safety and traffic engineer.
We've learned that like in the southeast part of our state, there's a higher rate of distracted driving happening there compared to other places of the state.
And what do you think is driving that?
I'm not really sure. It's a more rural part of the state. But for us to know that, now we can know, hey, maybe we need to increase our educational programs in that area. Law enforcement agencies could increase their visibility in that area.
What would be your message to people?
Well, is it worth it? Would your family's life be worth that? And I think 100% of people would say no.
A simple message as part of a statewide safe driving push. Adrienne Siddons hopes spares another family from her heartache. For Eye on America, I'm Chris Van Cleve in St. Louis.
Gold prices are still rising. We're going to talk about it with KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz coming up in just a moment. It's 8:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change. An election, an illness, a death. And questions. What about my family? My retirement? My estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestateMatters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
No need to get technical on heating and cooling. We all want our houses to cool, correct? When it's heating season, we want them to heat, correct? There's not much more to it than that, but I can give you some pointers and tips on the efficiencies, meaning the efficiencies of your house. What you can do to make your house more efficient, and then deciding on what system to purchase, therefore maximizing every single dollar you spent for a furnace and air conditioner. Not spending maximum dollars on a furnace and air conditioner because you're told of an efficiency rating, and that's it. So again, a common sense approach. When you start getting prices for any furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, the only number, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and get the latest on the roads. Here's Roger Brand.
Well, Megan, we're still busy on northbound 270 from that earlier crash. This traffic reports the service of Saks Financial. Looks like they were blocking the right lane while they get a tow truck in there. Slow going. Approaching Tesson Ferry, it's bumper to bumper gravel past the crash scene about midway up to 44. Still a backup at 44 and then slow all the way to Ladue. So it's still not really improving much yet. Southbound 270 approaching Olive Ladue is busy. Eastbound 64. East of Annie Guns to almost Timberlake is slow. East of Clayton Warson through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 backs up Science Center through Clayton Skinker, but it's slow all the way to Hanley. Eastbound 70 a little busy through the Rock Road Lindbergh area. Westbound 70 city limits out through Jennings Station is slow. Northbound 55 Union Road overpass up to River to Pears heavy. Westbound 64 3rd Street to the Poplars busy, and it looks like 5570 right now is thinned out between 159 and 157. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, looks like we'll have mostly sunny skies today, maybe a few clouds. It'll be warm with a high of 86 degrees. For tonight, patchy clouds, a low of 63, and then tomorrow, warm with some sun and clouds, a high 83. Currently, we have Sunny skies, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. Every week here on Total Information AM, we get insight on things that impact your pocketbook. From KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz, professor in the SLU Chaffetz School of Business. Jerry, last week we talked about Bitcoin reaching record highs. Today, let's talk about gold, because gold prices are soaring to record highs. What is driving this?
Well, there are three actual drivers going on right now. One is just simply uncertainty. And the thing is that gold is the classic safe haven asset. In good times and bad times, gold maintains its value. In fact, becomes more valuable when times are tough because people believe they can always cash out gold. So if we're talking about uncertainty, obviously there's global uncertainty everywhere. Trade war tensions still between the U.S. and China. Even with some peace in the Middle East, there's still the war in Ukraine, all sorts of tensions that way. Here at home, we're in the government shutdown right now, a classic example of uncertainty at home. And our U.S. debt is also achieving record numbers. So that's one problem. Second, most Americans aren't aware of this, but the central bank, basically the equivalent of the Fed in China, in Turkey, and in India, have stopped buying U.S. dollars since 2022. They've stopped buying U.S. dollars, and instead they're buying gold. That's part of what's fueling the increase in the price of gold, because they know people with gold know they can sell it to these big central banks. The third one is that as the Fed is thinking about lowering interest rates makes gold more attractive, because interest rates are going to affect people who are doing investments in bonds. If the interest rate goes down, bond rate payments go down, gold becomes better as an investment.
So for investors out there, what's next? What's the outlook for what gold is going to do? Okay.
There isn't a universal answer on that one. Short term, what we're looking at is there probably is reason to be cautious. The price is, as you said, it's at an all-time high. And short-term corrections, a pullback, because gold is maybe a little bit overvalued right now. So a possible 10 to 15% drop in the next few weeks, it wouldn't be unheard of. But there's no official reason for the gold increase to stop until something major changes. Longer term, the big investment houses like Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, they think that the price of gold in 2026 will be somewhere in the $4,900 to $5,000 per ounce range, if you want to believe that. Of course, they're hoping to try and grow people's budgets and get more of their investment money. So they may have a vested interest in saying that.
That is KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz, professor in the SLU Chaffetz School of Business. Thank you as always.
Have a great week.
Coming up, we're going to talk to Bloomberg and look at prices at the grocery store.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
8:35, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Prices at the grocery store are continuing to rise, and shoppers are trying to find ways to save. Supermarket giant Albertsons says consumers are choosing smaller package sizes and using more coupons to cut their grocery bills. Albertsons says customers are sticking closer to their shopping lists and maybe not buying that extra item. Over the past 12 months, the price of coffee has increased more than 20%, and ground beef is up 13%. Checking on your money, markets have been pulled in different directions for days as traders focus on the trade tensions between the U.S. and China. This morning, stocks are on the rise. S&P futures are gaining 40 points. Dow futures are up 190. Yesterday, the S&P 500 finished the day slightly lower, dropping 0.2%. And gold hitting another record, rising above $4,200 an ounce. The trade frictions between the U.S. and China giving a bump to the precious metal. Gold has soared about 60% this year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is Megan Lynch. My husband's family knows firsthand the ups and downs of caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease. That's why I'm grateful once again to be part of the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's October 25th at Chesterfield Amphitheater and Central Park. And you can join me by going to alz.org/walk. Last year was absolutely amazing. Hundreds of people coming together to support each other, number one, then to raise awareness and also to raise funds for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. More than $1.3 million was raised last year just from the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's alone. What gives families like ours hope is that treatments have been developed in just the last couple of years that address the underlying biology of the disease rather than just the symptoms. And the funds raised through the Walk to End Alzheimer's are helping to find those solutions. I hope you'll join me. It's Saturday, October 25th at Chesterfield Amphitheater and Central Park. You can go to alz.org/walk to register. Again, that's alz.org/walk.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. So they've been with me for 15 plus years. So we've had a lot of seasons together. So it is officially fall now. It's spooky season. You've got Halloween coming up. You have people coming over. It is time to nest for the winter and the holidays. In other words, it's a great time to get your carpets cleaned, to get your furniture clean, to get your air ducts clean, and your dryer vent clean. You can do all of those very reasonably. There's always a DGS special. This month, it is 3 months of carpet clean starting at $129. That's a $40 savings, 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. The guys do a great job. They've been out to my house half a dozen times, maybe more than that. They work their butts off. They're professional. They are courteous. Call 314-474-2020. You can also book online at ZeroResSTL.com, 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com. Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs, attorneys, and for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisement.
From your friends at Lombardo Homes, congrats to Dave Glover and the DGS Show on 25 years of building something great. Thanks for keeping St. Louis entertained, informed, and laughing all along the way.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery no longer on house arrest. He was taken into custody by federal marshals after prosecutors argued they couldn't monitor his communication. Jefferson County Council members on a split vote decided to prohibit Rockford Park visitors from getting into the Big River for swimming or wading. And Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says that a sharp slowdown in hiring poses a growing risk to the U.S. economy that could suggest the Fed will cut its key interest rate again this year. Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our backup on North 270, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. The right lane still blocked for the crash that cleared to the shoulder. North 270 north of Gravois. Traffic is bogged down. Stop and go most of the way from Tesson Ferry up to that point. And then it's still slow north of 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue. That's still busy. Eastbound 64. Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake, east of Lindbergh into Big Bend is still heavy. Westbound 64 backs up at the Science Center to about Clayton Skinker, but it's slow to Hanley. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Eastbound Highway 70 from the Rock Road into Cypress is a little busy. Westbound 70 at Jennings Station, slow. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River to Pear, kind of off the pace. And 5570 at Exchange through on to 64 is still pretty busy over to the Poplar. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8, jerrykelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, Jerry Kelly.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to talk about St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery being taken into federal custody, plus how you can attend a No Kings protest and not violate the law. That's coming up with Brad Young. Checking the forecast for you first, though. Sunny to partly cloudy, warm, a high of 86 degrees. For tonight, patchy clouds with a low of 63. And then tomorrow, another warm day with a mix of sun and clouds, a high of 83 degrees. Right now, we have 65 degrees in Florissant, 61 in St. Peters, 63 downtown at the Arch. As you've heard here on KMOX, St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery was taken into the custody of federal marshals yesterday after prosecutors argued he couldn't be properly monitored under house arrest. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser, joins us for our weekly chat. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So Sheriff Montgomery faces a number of charges, including felony charges for alleged witness tampering, and prosecutors pointed to things like a burner phone, questions about the number of guns he has, and accusations that he made threats against people who testified against him. Now, he's not had a trial yet, Brad, but many people are already asking, how can he keep his job at this point? How would you answer that?
That's a great question. The judge has already been asked to remove the sheriff from office. He declined, stating that this case, at least for what's called the quo warranto action, that's the case being brought by the Missouri Attorney General, Catherine Hanaway, that's set for early November. So the judge decided that the sheriff cannot be removed because the trial is not that far away. Now, having said that, if you look at the federal charges, remember previously Montgomery was only charged with a misdemeanor under state law, but because of his actions in response to that charge, the federal government brought federal charges: witness tampering, witness retaliation, deprivation of rights. And the FBI has phone call recordings of him berating employees, of sanctioning employees, of firing employees, trying to get them to not cooperate with the FBI. And so he was placed on house arrest. But once the judge found out that Alfred Montgomery had a burner phone, at least one, if not more burner phones, then at that point, the judge decided that he could not be trusted to house arrest with ankle monitoring, and he had to be placed in incarceration in order to control his communications.
Sounds like it was a really interesting hearing, including the fact that his attorneys made a big show of wanting to present their arguments. Was that hearing the proper forum for that?
It was not. Essentially, his legal team, Alfred Montgomery's legal team, was attempting to use this forum yesterday, which was really only to be used to decide whether he would or would not be incarcerated. But they tried to use that as a forum to argue in favor of his innocence, which his innocence really wasn't an issue at this hearing yesterday. It was really only an issue regarding whether he should or should not be incarcerated. But I think his legal team is trying to play a two-front war here, and that's, number one, illegal arguments, but also they're trying to argue in the court of public opinion. And I think the belief here is that if you could sway public opinion, then that would influence the judge in ways that would help Mr. Montgomery. But listen, federal judges, state judges I think are pretty much immune to publicity, but federal judges are absolutely immune to publicity. They don't care. They just want to know what the law is, what the situation is, how do we apply it to the facts. And I don't think that was the best strategy for Montgomery's legal team.
Let's talk about some things that are expected to happen over the weekend. Communities across Illinois, at least, expected to hold No Kings demonstrations Saturday to protest actions by the Trump administration. If any of our listeners plan to attend, or if they happen to be in the areas where these are happening, what do they need to know about their rights and where those rights start and end?
Well, under Illinois law, Megan, folks can assemble on sidewalks or in parks, even without a permit. The only restriction on that is you cannot block others' access to the park. People can march in the streets. They have to have a permit for marching in the streets, but sometimes that's waived for those spontaneous marches that sometimes occur. Folks can even use amplification. They can use bullhorns, but up to a certain point. Cops can come in and say, as long as it's content neutral, I don't care if you're for Trump or against Trump, but there's a limit on how loud you can be. You can also record the police. That's completely legal in the United States. You can pull out your phones and record anything that's happening in the public. What you cannot do, you cannot block any traffic or emergency routes. You can't commit mob action like busting into cars or setting trash cans on fire. You also can't trespass on on private property rather, or resist the specific instructions by the police related to public safety.
And if you want to stage a counter protest, what do you need to know about that?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. In other words, the rules for protesting is what we call they're content neutral. It doesn't matter if you're pro or against, whatever it is, the rules are supposed to be interpreted the same way on either side. So really the best advice is don't do anything to harm anyone else. You can speak your mind. That's what the First Amendment is for. And also pay attention when police give instructions related to public safety.
If you get arrested, what are your rights?
Well, if someone gets arrested, as I think everyone in the United States knows, you don't have to speak to the police. Anything that you say can and will be used against you. And as always, I would recommend anyone who gets arrested to obtain legal counsel as soon as possible.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. Appreciate your time this morning.
My pleasure.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young, and Kaiser. It's 8:48.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week, and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Holy onions! For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Atlas Roofing provides the best value in architectural shingles. Atlas shingles feature a limited lifetime warranty and wind resistance up to 130 miles per hour. Plus, their super wide design saves on installation time. Visit us in store or on menards.com and get a free estimate fast on your shingle project with our easy-to-use design program.
Save big money at Menards.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. For more than 20 years, Bank of America has invested nearly $370 million in neighborhood builders. It's an investment in people, specifically nonprofit leaders working to address challenges in our communities. And we have several guests in studio this morning. We're going to introduce you to all of them. But first, let's start with Marilyn Bush. She is president of Bank of America St. Louis. Marilyn, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Megan, thanks for having us.
So what support does neighborhood builders provide these nonprofit leaders in their organizations?
So first off, it's always great to invest in the St. Louis community. And so, you know what, today we're really proud to announce a $400,000 investment through our Neighborhood Builders program, supporting two outstanding organizations that are driving economic mobility and opportunity right here in the community. Our Neighborhood Builders program is actually in its 21st year. We do this across the country in our 97 markets at Bank of America.
And each of our recipients, we have 2 today, will receive $200,000 in grant funding, as well as leadership training for a CEO and their emerging leader. And it also creates an opportunity to bring together all of our nonprofit leaders in one community, so that they can learn best practices from each other. So it really has been an incredible program for us. And of course, in St. Louis, I have to mention that we have had 37 nonprofits that we've invested in over that 21-year period, for a total of $7 million.
When you look at that investment, what do you feel like the impact has been in St. Louis?
I think, for us, it's really helping to create economic mobility and opportunity for those who need it the most. I think a lot about today is, what investment in creating jobs, as well as, the investment in small businesses, which really helps to create a thriving economy. And you really invest in the St. Louis community in a way that helps to create that multiplier effect by giving people the skills and as well as the capital and the training that they need in order to create strong businesses.
Well, I appreciate you choosing KMOX as the place to share the new announcement today with our listeners first about the 2 new picks for this program. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce our next guest.
Absolutely. Well, we have 2 neighborhood builders, which is not going to be a surprise. Both these organizations are well known to St. Louis. And first, we have the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis as our first neighborhood builder, and our second neighborhood builder is the Cortex Innovation Community.
Give us a sense of why they were chosen.
I would say for the Urban League, they've been serving our community since 1918, really advocating for economic opportunity, equality, and civil rights. Their particular grant will go to our really the opportunity for Save Our Sons and Sisters program. I'll let Michael talk a little bit more about that. And then the Cortex Innovation Community is over 2 decades and has really created opportunities for launching small businesses and training small businesses. As a matter of fact, they have over 700 small businesses that they have impacted over their years, and 400 companies that actually call small business companies that call St. Louis home in their innovation community. So they're doing a lot to train those small businesses and giving them the skills and the opportunity to really create thriving businesses. I'll let Sam talk a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, so we'll start with Michael McMillan, President and CEO of Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. What does this support mean for the Save Our Sons and Sisters program?
This support is so incredibly important because it is part of a long-standing, multi-decade relationship that we have with Bank of America, where they volunteer to come help the community. They support individuals in our programs like Save Our Sons and Save Our Sisters to get jobs, economic opportunity, hope to become entrepreneurs, and to really take them from lack of opportunity, lack of education, lack of training, lack of access to a full-blown career and the ability to take care of themselves and their families. And so this is just another chapter in a long-standing relationship that has been phenomenal on so many different levels, both locally here in St. Louis and then nationally with Bank of America and the National Urban League and Bank of America branches and chapters all across this country. And so this is really just an amazing evolution for us. We're so grateful for the opportunity, and it's going to really impact probably about 1,000 lives in terms of individuals that will be able to get support as a result of this funding today.
When I think of nonprofits, I think, you're busy doing the work. So a lot of times probably you don't have that investment in leadership for your own people, to continue to do that work better. So that has to be a great value.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the cohorts and learning from other not-for-profit leaders across the country. And we have a young emerging leader named Mick Austin, who is going to learn enhanced fundraising skills and how to diversify the income of the Urban League and give us the ability to help even more people, which is essential to our mission.
All right. Well, let's introduce next Sam Fiorello, President and CEO of Cortex. How will this support help your organization move forward? Because I know I've been hearing about some plans coming up in the future.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Marilyn and the team from Bank of America for this amazingly generous gift, and it's an investment, as she said, in not Cortex, but on our entire region, right? Cortex is probably better known for some of the bigger companies, the big names, the splasher names that are wonderful companies that are going to employ many hundreds of people and do things like create drugs that'll fight cancer. But another underpinning of our work is our work with entrepreneurs that want to build small businesses. And this is work that we have done for many years through our Square One program. And we have launched thousands of small businesses into our communities. These small businesses can thrive. We help build resiliency. They average 10 employees, but they're neighborhood building businesses, and they do a whole range of things. And this investment in that program will help us to scale it, continue to move it forward. And people think about Cortex as a 200-acre plot. The businesses that we have touched and launched cover 86 zip codes in our region. So it really is an investment in the entire region and in the state and national economy.
Give us a sense of, okay, when you launch one of those startups, when they get established, 10 years later, what do you see as far as other businesses that have come in then to surround them?
Yeah. So
imagine, I'll just paint a picture for you.
A woman in her 40s who has a CPA has worked for big accounting firms for her life and said, I think I can do this. I think I can start my own firm. She will come in and go through a 10-week program, and we will give that individual, like all of our attendees, will give them knowledge, of course. We will give them network, and we will give them self-confidence to say, you can do this, and we'll walk with you at the beginning, the middle, and later in your career. That woman will go out and open a business in her community, a community that Michael and his team serves, and she will build a team of 5, 6, 7, 10 accountants, and that will be a thriving business and hopefully a customer of Bank of America. And then some of her employees who will see this model will say, I'd like to attend a Square One program and launch their own business. So there's a whole host of that kind of businesses replicated over and over again. And for the national economy, people don't realize this. Small businesses of 10 people or less are really the backbone of our economy nationally. So this is really important work.
Well, thank you all for joining us and giving us the details of the awardees for this year's Neighborhood Builders. Thank you to Marilyn Bush, President of Bank of America St. Louis. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you as well to Michael McMillan with the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis and Sam Fiorello of Cortex. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
We've got Chris and Amy coming up next on KMOX.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery lands himself in jail. The Dodgers used to stay in a haunted hotel, and we'll chat with Peggy Williams, president.
I don't know if you want to try to go out front where we've got a little more room.
It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Yeah, I'm a put down here.
Ackerman, the #1 Genesis